No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world, man. We're back again. First off, this been now I'm going to say this, right? They know. Yeah. I've never been more excited for an interview, right? Ever. Like.
Really?
Ever.
Okay. Sure, let's get it going.
No, because it's past that, right? Because, like, most dudes, I never got to watch their, like, progression, right? Mm-hmm. Most of them.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that I think we both started YouTube around the same time, right? Mm-hmm. And I was sub to you when I think you had about like 5,000 subs, right?
Okay.
And we were both like around the same thing, right? I think at that time I had about like 1,000, I think, and you had 5,000, right? So like, right, so I was always tapped in. And then one day I looked up and then you like had a video that hit like 100K.
Yeah.
And since that day, like you would post a video at like 9 a.m. my time every morning from that point forward, right? Mm-hmm. And then you just took off. And I was like, yo, this dude really did it, right? Yeah. And even like from that, right? Like just watching you like climb, bro, I say, yo, I gotta get on my ish too, right? So, so like 9 months later, man, we're both sitting now in this room, man, after being distant strangers, man. Bro, how do it feel, man, to finally make it?
I mean, I don't even know if I've made it. I'm going in some direction. Hopefully it's up. But I don't know. It just feels like every day. It's just when you get used to doing something through discipline, it just becomes another day. And as you continue to challenge yourself, it becomes, it's just part of it. So like, you go to the gym, you work out, you get a little stronger, and then you don't even realize it because you're still pushing yourself to be stronger and stronger. So I wouldn't even really say that I made it, but it does feel good to be where I'm at. I will say that.
Yo, listen, my fat ass gotta know like that feeling of going to the gym and
yeah, man.
You feel me?
You gotta go to the gym.
Get stronger, man.
Yeah, you have to do it. It's just one of those things you have to do. And that's just part of it, doing things you have to do.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in a spot where everybody's telling us to, especially as men, to do things that we want to do and what we might feel like doing. But that's not what it means to be a man. It's more about the responsibility and doing things you have to do. And it doesn't matter how you feel, you got to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And just taking that step alone, that first step, saying, my body is in my own control. Like if there's one thing you can control in the whole planet is what you put into your body and if you work out. So when you get control of that and you prove to yourself that you can continue to be consistent in one area, it can show in other avenues in life. So
like when he walked in, like you're definitely more sturdy, like in person. Like you're like, I think it's because it's like you like sit down, like so like we like don't get to see like the full frame, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely like he's definitely talking that workout stuff because he truly embodies it, bro. Right? Yeah. Like you're sturdy. But did you see the No Jumper workout vlog that like we just did, or no?
No, I didn't see a workout vlog.
Oh man, you're gonna be in for a surprise. Now, again, this was my first time back. So since then, I've been in the gym every day, right? Mm-hmm. But my first day back into the gym. So before COVID, I was ripped, jacked up, right? I'm talking about here. I will find you the picture, bro, right? Mm. I was a workout warrior, you feel me, bro? Like, I was looking like a rugby player, bro, you feel me?
Yeah.
Right? I was jacked. And then what happened was during the pandemic, like halfway through, I stopped working out and started a YouTube channel and said, you know what, bro? I just got out of school. Like this career-ish don't look like it's going nowhere.
Right.
Let me start a YouTube. And then once I got some success, I started making 5-6 YouTube videos a day, locked up in quarantine, eating my butt off, right?
Yeah.
But, so I took about like 2 years off, and then the workout vlog we just did, I went into the gym. Now, first off, how do you think I performed in the gym? Do you think, again, if you were just assuming, do you think I got an A+, B, C, D, or F?
In what regard? Like in terms of were you lifting more, or in terms of like, oh, I bet you did lift more, because usually when you gain more weight, you can lift a little bit more weight too. Sometimes it depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet you lift more. But did you get on the treadmill though?
Yo,
because that's where you find out. That's what the boys. That's the difference between the boys and the men,
bro.
That cardio session,
bro. Listen, like that's the one thing I gotta get like better at. It's like the running thing and treadmill, right?
Yeah.
But so we went into the gym and we first started off with the bench lifting. Now the bench lifting, bench press, not bench lifting, bench pressing. Now bench pressing, I'll be real, bro. I could have done better, right? Mm-hmm. I think I did 225 7 times, right?
Okay.
And I think Adam did it 10 times, so like he beat me in.
Oh yeah, he up right now. He feel like he the man, yeah.
But then the leg press happened. Now, you probably see me in person, these legs is huge, right?
Legs, yeah.
So here's me before COVID. You feel me?
Oh yeah, bro. You was in there.
I'm telling you, bro,
You
every
was in
day, right?
Yeah,
you feel me?
That YouTube take a toll though. You try to make them videos every single day. I be feeling it too,
Man.
but I be having to force myself literally to get up and go.
Exactly.
And I think that's like part of it is just starting it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's everything. Everything starting it is the hardest part. But when you just sitting there and you know you got to get up to go to the gym, getting up and getting there is the hardest part. And once you do that, you'll probably do the workout.
Yo, bro, listen, like, I have no excuse because my gym is in my apartment.
Oh yeah, you wildin' there. You just...
I have no excuse. Nah, but the leg press, I did 720 pounds.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I think it was 8 plates on each side, so like 16 plates total. And then deadlift, I deadlifted 350. So since then, I'll be real, man. I might be able to take you in the gym now, man. You feel me?
In squat? Because at 160, I was power cleaning 305.
God damn.
Yeah, I'm a monster in the gym. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Listen, speaking of that, so like you just told me off air that you were a rugby player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait. First off, how did a black person get into rugby?
Well, actually, rugby was collateral damage. Really,
Yeah.
I ran track throughout college. I graduated from University of Arkansas Little Rock Division I college. And I was like 5 or 6 or 7 time All-American, something like that. A couple records in my bag.
You're him.
And, yeah, well, I was that guy.
You're Himothy.
Yeah, yeah. And so like anything you needed done, 1, 2, 4, I'm the guy to get on the line because even if I'm not the fastest guy, I'm gonna give it my all. You know what I mean? So when right after nationals, I think it was like 2018 or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, look, I'm not gonna go pro in track. I'm running about 10.4, 10.5. That ain't gonna cut it. These guys are running 9.9s. You know, Usain Bolt records
10.4?
Yeah. I ran D1 track. You know, if you're going to be an All-American, you got to be moving. So I was just looking at my options, and I'm a kind of guy where I believe in myself, so I'm going to go search for opportunities to try to find out what's next. If I realize that a path is closing for me, I'm not just going to sit there and wait for it to end and then go back groceries. I know guys that are running 10.1s, 10.2s, 10.3s that just decided to go back groceries, and if that's what you want to do, God bless you, but that ain't what I wanted for myself. So I just looked into other opportunities, and I seen rugby. I seen a video of rugby come across my page or on YouTube or something. And I was like, why not try that? So I made a list of the top 50 people that I needed to know in rugby, and I emailed every single one of those people. And I think like that goes to show a lot about searching for opportunity when you are at a particular point in your life. If you don't search for opportunity, you're not going to go anywhere. Yeah. So I searched for the opportunity. I emailed all those people. 2 people responded. I ended up in Colorado. I played for 1 summer. And then after 3 months of playing rugby, I made the USA National Sevens team. So,
yo, like you know, like what I realize about just life in general, that there are haves and have-nots, right? Meaning like it really don't matter what the industry is. You know, like most people usually have the same characteristics. Meaning, like for example, you, right? Like even if it wasn't YouTube or whatnot, you would have been successful in something just based off that drive of listen, like I'm doing fuck it, I have foresight to know distracting probably won't go too far. Let me find another avenue, and you dominated that much that you went to nationals.
Yeah. Because it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
So like even when I got into rugby, I was like, okay, I've only been playing rugby for 3 months. If I want to catch up to these guys that got 5, 6, 7 years of experience, if I train twice a day, I can get 2 days worth of workouts in the same day, so I can catch up to them if I continue to do that. So I would literally work out sometimes 3, 4 times a day trying to catch up to these guys that have more experience. But it just comes from the consistency. And that's a measurement of success. If you're consistent in one area, like when I was running track, my coach after practice, he had us all sit down and we were talking about work ethic. And he pointed out 5 people on the team that he thought would be successful, and every single one of us became successful. Yeah. But it was from the consistency. And like even when I talk to women and they're looking for guys and dating guys based on potential or whatnot, I say, is he the first one in and the last one to leave? Because if he wants to be a rapper and he's the first one in and the last one to leave, even if he doesn't become a rapper successfully, that consistency is going to go into other avenues of his life. Yeah. And he's probably going to be successful at something. So it's just about being willing to have the discipline to do it every single day. And the thing about discipline is when you don't feel like it, but you're disciplined and you do what you feel like you follow your responsibilities, it doesn't matter how you feel that day, you'll still do your duties. You know what I mean? So I just seen it as a duty.
Yo, listen, like, like you were definitely that guy in like here. So like in like high school, right? There's that guy that you look at and he's just great at just everything, right? Like you feel me? Like he get the hoes because he's good looking, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's a star athlete. The teachers love him because he's smart, right?
Yeah.
Were you just that guy?
I would say, in all honesty, I was really to myself. So
really?
I've always had a close group of friends, and because I am talented, I've always had people I've always attracted people because of the talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always kept a small group of friends, and I've always been hyper focused on myself and improving myself. And I think that was like a huge advantage over everybody else. I was never really chasing women, especially in high school.
Nah.
I was the kind of guy that was like, I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, because I'm poor. We ain't got no money. Like, what are you celebrating for?
But bro, listen, like, we seen your woman, bro. Like, she a baddie.
Yeah, she's pretty.
You bagged her when you were like fucking 15 years old, though.
Yeah.
So you been like that, though.
Well, I mean, I did what I needed to do at the time when it was needed to be done. You feel me? But after that was done, I felt like I'm going to get to the point where I want to marry this woman and take care of a family, and I can't do that if I ain't got no money. Yeah. So the only way to do that is to focus on myself and try to become the best version of myself I could be. And that means not only just working out, is mentally, being strong, being able to defend. You know what I mean? So like I'm taking MMA, doing all the things that you got to do to be a complete man. And it's crazy.
Serious? God damn, MMA, man. That shit crazy.
Yeah, but it's like, we know the things we need to do.
Absolutely.
And like you see kids, like young boys are addicted to video games because they know that you want to build up a character. That's what the male archetype is. You want to start at the bottom, and
2K.
the best video games is you build up your character. Yeah. Exactly, 2K. So we know what we need to do to become better, more competent men. It's just some guys don't choose to do it because it takes a little bit of work.
Yeah.
And getting the ball rolling, starting with the discipline, starting saying, hey, today I'm going to go to the gym, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym, next day is just going to become a lifestyle. It's like brushing your teeth. When you wake up, you don't even think about brushing your teeth anymore because you've done it, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. Look, I don't know.
They dirty out there,
yeah,
though.
I'm saying, like, but if you brush your teeth every single day or taking a shower every single day, it just becomes a part of your daily routine. You don't even think about it. So that's the thing, like with discipline, it makes things that are normally difficult become a part of your daily routine. And life becomes easier when you're used to doing difficult things. Yeah, I'm like, if I could power clean 300 pounds, you ain't going to be able to tell me that I can't, do something else. You know what I mean? So
wait, so like you're from Arkansas?
No, I'm from Minnesota.
Where?
I'm a street dog, bro. I've been all over the place. I was born in North Carolina, moved to Minnesota. After that, went to school in Iowa, then went to school in Little Rock.
High school in Iowa or high school in Minnesota?
College. I did high school in Minnesota.
Oh, wait. Now listen. Now I know a lot about Minnesota, bro.
What part? Like, were you?
Well, I'm from Flakko, North Dakota.
Okay.
So like we used to go to Minneapolis like 3 or 4 hours away to shop every day. So like
Mall of America?
Yeah.
And ain't no clothes tax. That's a smart move. In Minnesota, there's no clothes tax.
Yo, facts. So like you're from where? Like Minneapolis? Like you like grew up in like Minneapolis or like St. Paul or where?
No, I grew up in Winona, so it's like 2 hours outside of the city.
Damn, that's like the country, right?
Yeah, and it was probably one of the best things my mom could have ever done for me because the education system there was it was perfect. And there wasn't as much violence, so you could focus on the things you needed to do. And that's what I liked. I liked the peaceful life. I'm not into the... Yeah, so the
Negro shit.
Yeah, essentially. I ain't gonna say that, but I don't really like all that because it builds a mentality of scarcity. But 2 hours outside of.
Wait, so a mom moved you? So was your dad there too?
No, my dad, he was still in North Carolina.
Wait, hold up. So like, how did that? So like, tell me then, right? So did you eventually get to grow up in like a a two-parent household or just one parent?
No, yeah, my mom met my stepdad when she moved up to Minnesota, and I am very happy about that because he taught me certain things when it comes to respect that you just have to know. Like I remember a story in particular where he came in, he was like, he was eating or whatever, and I'm like, why is this guy eating our food? And he was like, I go to work every single day, I put this food on this table. And and then making me call him sir and learning to respond, like to, say sir and ma'am as a sign of respect. Those are things that, you got to learn from a dad. So I'm happy my mom did find a person to be with too. So
Yeah.
and you know, he had a family too, so I also got
mixed
great
family.
stepbrothers. Yeah, I also got. If you're gonna do it, I think that's the best way to do it. If you're gonna be a man and you're gonna be with a woman that already has kids, I think it's best that
You should already have kids as well.
Exactly. So it's a little bit more balanced. So yeah, and so I was raised by them, and I think they did a good job. We didn't have everything anytime we wanted, but my mom and dad worked really hard. I remember a time where we were eating pancakes every day and we thought that it was a good thing, but really it was because they were working and saving up to buy a house.
Yeah.
So my dad was the type of guy that'll wake up every day at 4 a.m., he walked 3 miles to work every single day.
Wow.
There
Stepdad.
and back. Yeah, my stepdad.
Wow.
Walked 3 miles to work to take care of us. So I really appreciate him for that. And I think that was one of the best things that happened.
So how's you and your biological father right now?
Oh, we're the same person. And I mean, I call him all the time. We talk all the time. I love him. I go see him too. And there's just a certain bond that, you know, with your biological dad that's harder to replicate with your stepdad. I don't call him my stepdad, but just so we can separate the two right now.
Yeah.
There's a certain kind of bond that you have naturally. And I realized that we even have certain mannerisms that we just mimic, and I wasn't even around him. He wasn't a deadbeat dad or anything by any means. We just got separated because my mom had to leave from where we were because of things that was happening. We ain't going. Yeah, it was certain things that were happening. So my mom was like, "We're gonna leave," and that's she took me with. And my dad I still go see my dad every summer. So he wasn't like a deadbeat dad or anything. He was still in my life actively. So.
Yo, but that's kind of like really interesting, right? Because like there's like this debate between nurture versus nature, right? So like you're telling me that you and your biological father, like you guys are still like really, really like just like that similar, even though you grew up with I guess you spent more time with your stepfather, right?
Yeah. So
like, do you think though that child development is nurture or nature? Like, which is more important?
And I've always thought about that too, like which one, and that's why I brought it up, because I thought it was fascinating, because how are we so similar in our mannerisms and even speech pattern?
Exactly.
And we wasn't even with each other all the time. But I really don't know, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think certain aspects are I think it just varies. I think it varies, if I'm just completely honest. I think some people are born with certain attributes that allow them to be more successful in life easier with less effort, and some people have to build those attributes, but they are buildable to a certain extent. And that was one of the things that I was battling when I was running track, because I was never the most talented, but I was always the most willing to work. So I was like, let's find out if these guys are faster than me because they're just naturally born faster than me and they don't even put in that much effort, or if it's something that I can master and become good at. And I got really good at it, but at the same time, there's still that gap because of that nature portion. Yeah. So I think to some degree it just varies.
Yeah. Right. So like speaking of that though, so is sexuality like nurtured in, or like are people born a certain way? Like being gay, straight, et cetera, et cetera.
You know what's strange about that is like people will have that conversation, and oftentimes when you talk to people who are part of the LGBTQ community,
IA.
IA, A, B, C, D, E, F. But yeah, like it's strange because according to them, if you're a man, you could be a man born as a woman.
Yeah.
You could be a man born in a woman's body, right? But you can't be a woman born as a woman. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of strange. So I think that when it comes to LGBTQ, I think some of it is definitely influenced. And I think that if you look at the data when it comes to Gen Z, 20% of Gen Z identifies LGBTQ. Yeah. Which is insane. Historically speaking, it's always been about 1 or 2% of the population that's identified as LGBTQ. And right now it's kind of trendy to be LGBTQ because it comes with some kind of struggle. Yeah. So, and now to be LGBTQ, you ain't even got to jerk nobody off. Yeah. You ain't even got to do nothing sexual. You could just say, I'm a
pansexual.
Thing. Yeah, I'm a thing. Yeah. So
I know what's crazy about that though, right? Like when it comes to like sexuality now, I know when it okay, so tell me if you heard this before, right? When it comes to women, like sexuality with women like is more fluid, right? Because like I think like there was some like weird study done like where like they like poll like 500 women and they show like a picture of an attractive female and then they put like a light in their eyes, right? And like I think it's like 98% of the women like their pupils dilated when they seen an attractive female. So it's something weird. Like with women, I guess, yeah, right. Like they're just attracted to like other women.
Yeah, they can be. They're a little bit more adaptive in that aspect. Yeah. And I think that comes. It probably, if I just had to guess, probably comes from a time of polygamy. And generally speaking, if you have it open, more women would rather be the king's mistress than the peasant's wife. So women kind of have adapted to tolerate other women more. Probably, it's just me guessing. It's probably like women have probably adapted to be more like that because they gotta be that way to get the man. Because historically speaking, if you were a king, conqueror, any man of any status, you had multiple women, and those women had to get used to dealing with each other. While it's never really been that way for men, so I would assume it's probably just some evolutionary biology where women have just adapted to be more tolerant of other women. And
I know it's crazy, like. Times is now changing, yo. Like I'm on Instagram and I can't like scroll more than like 5 feeds without seeing this woman who is convinced two cucks like to be like her quote unquote kings and husbands.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
Why is that problematic?
Well, because who's the father?
Like
that's the biggest. I don't understand, me personally, and I know everybody got their little thing they like to do. But this is just my criticism of the thing you like to do. I criticize a lot of things that I don't really mind if they exist. But I just don't understand as a man how you would be okay with bringing in a child that you don't even know is yours and you're donating or giving your resources to this child if you don't even know is yours. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's a very strange phenomenon. So, but I think that it's a result of men just becoming weaker.
Absolutely.
I think men are becoming weaker. You look at testosterone levels. Our testosterone levels are lower than they've ever been in human history. Like the modern man has the lowest testosterone in human history.
Why is that though? Is it
well, part of it is
the weed or what?
Part of it is the cancer in the ranch. You know, they're putting cancer plastics, microplastics in almost all of the food is what I'm saying. That's part of it. There's also the hormonal birth control that women, when they use the bathroom, hormonal birth control, estrogen is in the water too, and then there's just the social logic. There's the social part of it too, where we're kind of told that if we're not behaving like a woman, then we are inferior or acting out. You know what I mean? So like when it comes to emotions, and this is something that a lot of people don't understand, but when it comes to emotions, you're only emotionally intelligent if you show your emotions like a woman. But the only problem with that is men should be more stoic, because when men are overly emotional and they act on those emotions, they're dangerous. And so women don't understand that, and the bigger picture doesn't understand that, because they want you to go along and get along. And if you're more feminine as a man, you're more likely to go along with what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people have been getting banned on YouTube, so I want to be really careful about what I say, even in this conversation. But yeah, like when you talk about...
We'll get to that. Listen,
yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, but when it comes to sperm count is down 60% in men. As a man, as a 27-year-old man now, ever since 1989, we have been losing 1% testosterone on average every single year. Wow. So me as a 27-year-old man now, I'll have about 30% less testosterone than a 27-year-old man in the 1970s. So when you look at even like men ending themselves, that's part of it. When you look at I've never seen a school shooter that was the captain of the football team. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Right. So when you teach men that being emotional and acting out on their emotions is the best way to behave, you get a society full of dangerous men that are willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want out of life. You know, and if they're not completely honest about what they want out of life, because if they say what they want out of life, they're deemed as bad. They have to suppress that, and they're going to get it one way or the other. So.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So like, again, I'm not you, right? To where, bro, you're the one person who like I can like listen to, and you will spew like 30 facts in like a 2-sentence like radius, right?
Yeah.
Like, right? Like you're actually well researched, right? But when I like look at men getting weaker, do you think it comes from just life being easier right now? Like, for example, 100 or like let's say like 1,000 years ago, right? Men used to have to get up every day, go ahead and hunt and bring back food, right, to eat. Now it's like everything is easier to where like we really don't have to, I guess, like work as hard, right? So do you think it's like for example, 1,000 years ago, a dude who's out of shape and fat usually get killed by the tribe and left behind, right?
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's kind of like we can, be lazy, be fat, be like unmotivated, right?
Yeah. But that's all part of it. It's because when times get comfortable, men get weak. So I'm sure you've heard the quote, bad times make strong men make good times make weak men make bad times. So it's just that cycle, that cycle that we're going through. But the other part of it is that we're also being told that that's okay. You know what I mean? And masculine men who are more objective, or men who are more against the grain, men who don't want to go along with the agenda right now, they're being deemed as bad, because when society is safe and we've already used those bad men to make society safe, we deem those men as a liability, because those men are rampant in the society. When you can't control that guy if he doesn't give a shit about what you think. You know what I mean? So now that those men have gotten us to the point where we're in a safe society, we go, you guys are bad now. And as soon as this shit hit the fan, we're going to be calling on those men again. Absolutely. That's how it always works. And I think it's like even a little bit disingenuous, because everybody knows it. Like, even when we talk about the LGBTQ stuff, they're going to call you a woman as a man until it's time for the draft. And they're sending you right overseas. All that stuff, this is because it's good times. We can just sit here and kick our feet up and go, yeah, everybody's a ninja or a Batman or whatever you want to be. Yeah. But when the people come knocking, because China's getting ready while we're making our boys more feminine, getting them addicted to pornography through social media, because that's what it all is. Let's just be completely honest. While we're doing that and telling them to be more emotional and cry about their feelings and not go out and seek challenge and seek trying to be better and seek being stronger and being more dangerous and more masculine, China's teaching their children. They're getting all of their feminine men out of their media. They don't want any of that in there anymore. And they're teaching their men to be stronger. So, I mean, when the war comes, who do you want? You want the guy that believes that he's a girl, or do you want the guy that's foaming at the mouth full of testosterone?
Yo, like, I think we all know the answer to that, right? Because let's be real, man. Like, what's currently described as toxic masculinity, right? Bro, like, those are all men that, like, we would run behind and say, yo, save us, right? Yeah. Now, like, now speaking of the red pill, have you always been, like, red pill?
I think that there's a time in everybody's life where you kind of start to realize a little bit more, especially as you get older. Yeah. Because as men, especially now, we're told that pretty much women can do no harm. Like, people, you've heard the term how to treat a man, you never heard the term you've heard the term how to treat a lady, you never heard the term how to treat a man.
Absolutely.
And it's because society conditions men to essentially think that women are these angelic creatures that can never do any wrong, and eventually you assuming that gets you in a bad position, and you start to realize how things work. And it doesn't mean women are demons, but it also means that women are angels. They're humans. They make mistakes. Fact. So, but I think that a lot of men are conditioned to believe that. So every guy has kind of a moment where it starts to make a little bit more sense, and it's generally when you get a little older. For me, I had a friend in high school. We were about 14 years old, bro. He had a girlfriend. He moved the girl in with her, and because she was having some problems with her family, and they lived together and coexist, whatever. He got her pregnant, and she had a baby. And I mean, this guy stepped up to the plate. At 14 years old, he's going to work every single day right after school. So you go to school from 9 a.m. to 3. Yeah. At 3, he going to work at 3:30 to go to work till 10 o'clock. Then he's in Minnesota, rain, sleet, or snow. He's biking his way all the way across town to get back home. Yeah. He was doing that every single day. I literally seen the life drain from his body from doing it every day. He's 14 years old. Yeah. He ain't ready for that kind of stress. This woman abused him, and then just a couple months later, after the baby was born, there were some rumors going around, and he went and got a paternity test. Turns out the baby wasn't his, because she was sleeping with some other dude at another school. Wow. A person that he had given everything to, a person that he had taken into his own home, taken care of her, took care of a baby that he thought was his on the drop of a dime, while also being abused by this woman, and it wasn't even his baby. You know what I mean? And there's absolutely no punishment for that. None at all. That man lost 2 years of his life working like a slave to provide for another man's child, and there's absolutely no punishment for that. Yeah. And just being conscious of things like that, and going off to college, being a Division I athlete, and seeing girls that was in relationships for 3-4 years back in high school come be freshmen, and then get, my teammates are sleeping with them in the truck, not even making it to the bedroom. Wow. Like girls that you would assume got some. Yeah, essentially. So you just start to realize that girls aren't angels, they're humans, and they make mistakes too. So.
right? So like you're actually like an anomaly to where like you actually learn from the mistakes of other men, right? So we're like, again, like you've had a baddie since like 15 years old, right? So like you never truly understood, I guess, like heartbreak or dealing with like scandalous women, or like you just grew up with a father to where like you've always been on game and knew these women can't be, again, but I can't be trusted, but most women are, scandalous.
There's parts, yeah. But no, I think it's just because, it was because my head was down.
Yeah.
Like I'm training every day. After training, I'm coming home, I'm reading books. I'm trying to diet, trying to eat well to try to be the best athlete I can possibly be. And when you are trying to pursue something and you're actively like engaged in it, it's hard to be degenerate. So at this time, I wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, wasn't doing anything outside of what I thought was going to make me successful because I didn't have any money. Yeah. I don't know how dudes are even walking around trying to sleep with 2-3 women. You ain't got no money,
bro.
Like I don't get it. Like, where are your priorities? Not only for the kids that you may bring into the world, but also for yourself. You know what I mean? So my priority was always get the money first, then we can have the fun.
Yeah.
So that's why with all the women stuff, I wasn't dealing with multiple women because I had no reason to. I was broke.
Yeah,
what
right.
You doing? Yeah.
Nah, here, right. So like, when did you? Okay, so then after rugby, when did you say, yo, I'm about to start this YouTube stuff? Because like you started off doing an actual podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So literally, for the USA rugby team, I played for a year and a half. I got to go to like 12, 13 different countries, represent the US. And in 2019, I got a bronze medal at the Pan Am Games with the US. Yeah, literally, bro. I hit some dude. I put it on him, but he threw an elbow and cut my eye. Oh. And I'm in a basement in Peru without any anesthesia, getting my eye stitched up to go play in the next game. You know what I mean? So like,
F that.
Yeah, that was a part of it. But then right after that, literally that same summer, I proposed to my wife at a tournament in Colorado. It's called Rugby Town. It happens every single year. We won the tournament, but in the tournament, I had a career-ending injury. I had a herniated disc in my back.
Oh man!
So I had bad sciatica, and I went back to the national side at the end of that summer because we start training in the fall, and they pretty much said you're kind of on your own, and the money that they offered to pay me wasn't money that I could sustain a family with. And I had just gotten engaged because I literally just proposed. Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I've been training for 10 years. Yeah. With nothing to show for it, except for, again, the discipline and the consistency.
And a bronze medal.
In a bronze medal. It's nice.
I mean, hey, bro.
You get to say...
Olympic bronze medal is crazy.
Yeah, I get a lot of stories, so I got to hang out with NFL athletes, and I get to see some of the dynamics. But, so right after that, I had that injury, and after that injury, and this is why I tell people, it's the consistency and it's the drive, and it's the no matter what. I had good enough reason to sit there after working for 10 years of my life, going to the track every single day. In the summer, literally having blisters on my feet from trying to run to get a scholarship because I went from 11-2 to running 10-7 in one summer just to get a college scholarship for track. So I had every reason to just be emotional and go, it's all over. I dedicated my entire life to this. I give up. I'm just going to sit in my room and cry and not put forth any effort. But I chose to continue to go. So right after that, I came back home. I started to work for USPS. Walking with sciatica in my back, hardly being able to walk. I'm walking 5 miles a day.
You were a mailman.
Bro, walking 5 miles a day, holding people's goddamn mail, Batman toothbrushes, assless chaps, everything you order from Amazon, I'm carrying, and I can barely walk, but I'm walking 5 miles a day to make sure that I can provide a certain...
feed your family.
Yeah, essentially, because I got a fiance now, and I'm taking it serious. So, but in my spare time, even though I was working and doing sometimes 10-hour shifts, I was still working out, and I was still making YouTube videos every single day.
Wow.
So yeah, and from the consistency there, nobody sees the catalog because I deleted it all first. But
what? Oh, again, we will touch on that later.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I can't wait for that conversation.
But yeah. So like the first 6 months, I'm doing this stuff every day and nobody cares, And that's the hardest part is when nobody cares. When you go into the gym and you still kind of big and nobody sees it and you don't even see it, nobody cares. That's the hardest part. But when the results start to show, people start paying attention. You start to see the difference in your own life, and the snowball creates, and it starts to get bigger and bigger. So
I know it's
that's
crazy,
how I got
man.
into it.
Yo, listening to you talk, man, bruh, like it makes me want to leave here
and go to the gym
and run 20 miles, nigga. You feel me? Right, bro.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's like you're so motivated, man. Now, what made you, I guess, transition from the actual podcast field to doing like the reaction video to like the red pill content?
Yeah, well, see, the thing about a podcast is it gives you a lot of excuses to not. Well, okay, I'll start with the first. The thing about the podcast, first of all, is when you start a podcast from the beginning, you have to make sure that your audience likes you more than they like the guests.
Yeah.
Especially on YouTube, where you can have dead subscribers. Yeah. So I could start a podcast, have Jordan Peterson on, get 50,000 subscribers, but those 50,000 people are here to see Jordan Peterson, not Poor Man's Podcast or Travion Clark. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're in a situation now where you've built this major audience, but you only getting 1,000 views per video because the people subscribe to you for the person that you had on and not because they actually care about you. So I was like, okay, I have to build the brand myself. And also I have to, I'm like an independent guy. I like to do things on my own because when it's me, when I know it's on me, I can't make excuses. That was one of the reasons why I like track, because it doesn't matter if you running 10-5, 10-3, 10. It doesn't. There ain't no excuses. It's not about if your quarterback is good or you got a good D-line or whatever it may be. You don't have any excuses. It's on you. So I like to be solo for a lot of my things, and that's why I kind of stopped interviewing people, because sometimes people wouldn't show up. People were inconsistent. You know how it is, especially when you're smaller and you're trying to build a name. People don't take you as serious.
And thank you, by the way, right? Because listen, I want people to know, right, how serious this brother takes his craft.
Yeah. I'm dead ass. Yeah.
Most guests are 30, 45 minutes late, right? Like here, right? So like, for example, I was supposed to interview like this rapper, right? I think it was like last week Tuesday, I think, right? Last week Tuesday, this rapper, right? A big rapper, bro. He was probably like what, an hour and 15 minutes late, right?
Is he a big rapper?
Nah, like probably like
there it is.
Yeah,
there it is. I mean,
you know?
I mean, I don't want to talk no bad about, but those are the habits, bro. Like it's like little habits. Like especially with black folks, we create these little bad habits where we just give excuses to each other. Oh, he on CP time. He on colored people time. Yeah. No, man, you got somebody showing up to interview you or to give you a platform, to give you an opportunity, and you gonna show up late? That's crazy to me. Like,
and you came early, by the way. You feel me?
I'm here. Yeah.
He was here early, sitting down. I came like expecting, but they here, yeah. Look, they all for. I said, what?
Yeah. I'm here.
Man, bro, that's crazy, right? Yo, listen, I do want to ask you though, right? So like for the Olympics, right? Here, right? So like, were you like a part of like the Olympic tent, like right, like so like apparently like there's, again, I never been no athlete, right, but apparently like there's a community where it's kind of like just like everybody lives in this like one community with like tents and shit like that. Yeah. Were y'all there too?
Are you talking about like as far as training, or are you talking about at the actual events?
Yeah, like
because in training, it's actually in Chula Vista. I was right south of LA. In Chula Vista, we have the Olympic Training Center. So that's where all the Olympic athletes, not all of them, because there's various ones across the country. Yeah. But that's where some of the Olympic athletes go and train and live.
At the event.
Okay, at the event, yeah. When I went to the Pan Am Games, which is the biggest event that I did, next year was the Olympics, and I was training for that. But unfortunately, the injury
you fuck up your shit. Okay.
So
that's why.
So at the Pan Am Games, you go in, man, and everything's set out for you. We were in Peru. You got the flags. You got the Jamaican flag. Everybody has their country's flag. You know what I mean? And it's a unique experience because there's so many cultures clashing in one area. Yeah. But yeah, it's.
And you're black, right?
Yeah.
Or Jamaican.
I'm black.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's a big orgy. Yeah. You got a whole bunch of people full of testosterone, a lot of dudes that may be fit, a lot of women that are fit, probably attractive, and a lot of people get into a lot of things. Hey, I'm not. Hey, look, is what I'm saying. So like, when you in that kind of environment and you have these conversations with regular people that don't understand that guys that are at a certain level have an understanding. Many of these dudes have girlfriends. I'm not going to talk about the rugby team, not the rugby team, anybody. So anyway, but many of these dudes that I met in the NFL, world-class track athletes, they're traveling for 2 or 3 weeks at a time sometimes, and so their wives kind of have this understanding where as long as it's not out in the public, as long as it's not disrespectful, as long as you're not bringing in illegitimate children, as long as you're at least showering before you come home, or you have an Anytime Fitness membership, you go and shower before you come back home to see. as long as you're taking care of what you got to do and doing it to a certain degree, like being respectful and keeping it out of her face and she doesn't know, that's fine. The trouble comes when it's all in the media. Now her family's like, oh, you're with this guy and then other women are going, yeah, sis, you need to leave him, even though those are the same women that's going to be in his DMs the next day. Those same women that are telling these ladies to leave these millionaire men because the dude may have cheated on them. And I get it. That's not a good thing to do, especially to your family, to your woman. I get it. It's not good. But those same women that are telling these women to leave that man, they're jealous because
it's so dumb.
Exactly. Like, why would you do that?
Wait, right? So now I got to ask now, right? Now, as somebody, who you're now a high value man, right? Feel me, right? Again, Social Blade is the worst tool ever, right? You feel me, man?
Social Blade?
You feel me, man? You got paper. You feel me?
I mean, I'm in a hard
You
spot.
got paper, right?
Yeah.
So like now you're married, right? So getting married, now having paper, was it ever like, yo, like this prenup gotta, happen?
I never felt that way with her because she was with me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, through everything.
Through everything, like from the beginning to the end. She was literally in the video the day I broke the high school record. Like just different parts of my life. She's always been there.
Yeah.
She's helped build me to a certain spot. Maybe we could talk about a prenup in the future. Just to make it so that when you separate, it's not as malicious. Because sometimes people think that it's all flowers and rainbows until it comes, and then this person is trying to take all of your money, and it leaves a bitter taste in everybody's mouth, and nobody
She entitled
likes
to anything right now, though. Like, for example, I think like Charlamagne the God, right? And he said, "Yo, listen, like me and my wife, like been together right now for like what, like since we were like 15 years old, and they're like 45 right now, right?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Listen, we don't got no prenup. If we get divorced right now, she deserves half, bro. Because she been so like, do you feel that way? Like, if you guys get divorced, do she deserve 25, 50% or what?"
I feel that way to a certain degree because she's given her most beautiful and fertile years to me exclusively.
Yeah.
So now that, she's going to start aging, she's going to get older, and beauty fades. If you take care of yourself, it fades a little slower, but it always fades. So, she gave those years to me, so I think that it's only right that now that I became a little bit more successful, I make sure that she's taken care of for the rest of her life. And that's always going to be the case for her.
That's dope. You see, I don't have a wife yet, so like my view on those things probably would change, right? Like once I find somebody, I guess I truly love like that, right?
Yeah.
Now I do have a long-term girlfriend, 3+ years, right? But like for me, bro, I'll be real, man. Like I don't think I can ever get to that point where I'm willing to say, listen, like you held it down to where if we do break up, you can get a portion of this wealth that I built up.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I feel it though because wait, she your girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Well, my wife was married to me before any of this stuff. Yeah, well, we got married. Yeah, I wasn't even making YouTube videos when we got married. So like after I got injured, she's wheeling me through the airport in a wheelchair, to get me back to the Olympic trainers. So that's
dangerous though, bro, because if she was with you before everything, God forbid, 20 years later, you'll go to a divorce court. Bitch. Man, listen,
she gonna hit me up.
You going through the ringer, bro.
No, and I understand because that's 50% of marriages end in divorce, and we're just completely honest. Yeah. And maybe that's why it could be a discussion in the future if we ever get to a certain point. But I will, no matter what, make sure that she's taken care of financially for the rest of her life. Yeah. So I don't plan on getting a divorce, but nobody ever plans for rain, and so I don't plan on getting a divorce, but if it does happen, if that day does come, she, no matter what, will be taken care of financially for the rest of her life. I'll see to it. It's just my responsibility. Like, that's what it's about.
You're a good dude, man.
You got to have the responsibility. Like, and I think that's the difference between the boys and the men. You can have all the money in the world. If you don't have responsibility, then what does it matter? Like, if you don't, then you're not a man. But a man takes responsibility for the people around him. A man makes money to prove that he can have a family. A woman makes money, and that's one of the biggest differences. A woman makes money to prove that she doesn't need a man. Yeah. You see the differences? So, like, to be a man, you have to take on responsibility. So, I'm always good for taking on responsibility, and I think men should take on more responsibility because it forces you to perform. Yeah. When you don't have any responsibility, you could just sit on the couch all day, waste your life playing video games, bullshitting, jerking off, whatever you want to do. But when you have people you have to take care of, people you have to get up and wake up and provide for, that gives you motivation. And you have you ever heard of the statistic that 30% of men between the age of 18 and 30 are where I think it's 30% of men by the age of 30 are what is it? Zero. I'm trying to get in my. You know, I be having so many statistics.
Yo, bro, listen. There's a difference between guys, like for example, right? We know the difference between dudes who put on a camera and a mic and they're just legit, like, just reacting and talking about shit they know nothing about. You're one of those dudes where it's kind of like, bro, like, you actually know your shit, you know what you're talking about, right? And like, you're not a shock jockey, meaning like...
Yeah, that's the biggest part, especially on the internet. It's easy to get into that category.
Shock jockey.
Yeah, but like, I do want to go back to this point because I do think it's important, but so 30% of men at the age of 30 are virgins or haven't had sex within the last year. Think about that. 30% of men. This is the first time in human history where a woman at the age, or a woman between the age of 18 and 24 has had more sexual partners than a man in that same age. The first time in human history. So, and when you hear that statistic, women will just go, oh, that's a man's problem. No big deal. Why should we care? And you should care because a family is a man's... a family is what anchors a man to society. If a man doesn't have a family, why would he care about society? Why would he not go shoot up someplace? Why would he care about voting? Why would he care about going to work every single day and continuing to be productive? And that's what you're seeing. A lot of guys are deciding to not be productive because they don't even have the chance of having a family because so many women want a specific kind of guy that they're probably never even going to get anyway.
Absolutely.
So you got guys that are virgins, which is the most dangerous. Yeah, these are dangerous people because they have nothing to lose. You don't
full
have
of cum and dump.
You don't have any. You don't have any responsibility. You don't have anything that anchors you to care about society. So why care? And that's when things get dangerous. So when women hear that statistic and they go, "Who cares?" You gonna start caring. You gonna start caring because those men have no reason to go to war. So when China comes a knocking, when Russia comes a knocking, and you go, well, why don't you get up and go help? Why should I? I have no family. Nobody cares about me. Nobody's ever told me to have a nice day. Nobody says they appreciate anything that I've done. I've gotten up, worked every single day for absolutely no reason. And there's a lot of guys that feel like that, and that becomes dangerous for society. So that's the responsibility. That's why responsibility is important.
Yo, listen, like, speaking of that danger, right? Because I've always said this, because, like, we sit back and we kind of, like, try to figure out what's the purpose of the Red Pill community, right? Like, is the purpose of Red Pill for like, self-improvement, just for men to go into these, I guess, interactions with women and to not be manipulated and taken to the ringer? Or is the goal for us to create a healthy relationship dynamic between men and women and take away that danger and take away just that, like, gender war, you know, that's currently going on?
I think right now, you mean like the relationship portion? Because I sometimes dwell into the whole grander scheme of everything. And
manosphere,
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it because to answer your question specifically, though, I think it's more about teaching men how to be the best versions of themselves, because when you have men that are the best versions of themselves and they're able to take on responsibility and they're willing to be disciplined and do things every single day, you get a man that women want to be with. Regardless of if that man is a CEO or whatever it may be, you get a certain character of guy that's able to take care of a family, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be the kind of guy that a woman will want to be with, and those are the aspects that women want. So I think when you conquer the whole teaching men to be the best versions of themselves, you kind of solve the other problems too. But there's also a bigger agenda when you talk about the Red Pill, where corporations are openly promoting certain ideas because it's profitable for them. Like when you talk about women in the workforce, that is almost exclusively beneficial to corporations and the government, almost exclusively. A woman is going to go to work, but you still got to cook and clean, but now you just got to go to work too. So that's the scam. And women are more depressed than ever before. Men are more sexless and addicted to porn than ever before. The fastest growing antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications is at an all-time high. And the fastest growing demographic is women between the age of 40 and 45. So those women have found out that they didn't want to have families because they've been told that they should go and chase the bag, sis. So they've gone and folded pants at the Banana Republic, only to find out that they're going to be miserable when they're 40. And this whole boss babe mentality where you're just going to be the successful millionaire, statistically speaking, it ain't gonna happen. Women make on average $35K a year, regardless of how we want to cut it or chop it.
That's insane to even think about, man.
So you got a situation where corporations are promoting certain ideas because it's exclusively beneficial for them. Like when you look at certain things, you got to ask yourself who benefits from that. Why is this a thing, and who benefits from it? You get women into the workplace. Now there's nobody home to feed the children. Nobody cooks for the kids. So now you got to go eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
Now you got obese children, right? You get women into the workplace. Now you got to send your kids to daycare. And the latest studies have came out on this because this is the first generation of kids that were raised by daycare, essentially, and it skyrockets your chances of being depressed and anxious. So when you look at Gen Z and they're wearing hoodies in 90-degree weather and they're acting all sad and depressed, it's probably because they were raised by
the emo generation right now for some reason.
Exactly.
Bro, they're all sad.
Exactly. It's because they were raised in an environment that wasn't beneficial to them because there was no woman in the house. Yeah. So, you know, when you double the workforce by pushing women into the workforce, you now have suppress wages because anything there's more of, you pay less for. Yeah, so now that there's double the workers, you don't have to pay people as much, beneficial to companies, and you get 2 times the people you can tax, beneficial for the government. So why wouldn't you push these ideas? And there was a woman, I forgot her last name, but her first name is Gloria. She worked for Cosmopolitan, and this is just a part of the propaganda. She said that in the 90s when Cosmopolitan was the most influential for women, that she was paid to lie about facts, data, and statistics to promote a more Sex in the City lifestyle because it's going to sell more magazines and it's going to make women be more into consumerism. Yeah. So women are being told that they can find happiness through things instead of finding happiness through like genuine fulfillment. Yeah. And that's a big part of the problem. So, and 65% of all consumer debt is owned by women. And that's why when you look at all of the media, it's all catered to pleasing women. Yeah. But the problem is when you only cater things to please women, you have to lie to them. When guys talk to women, let's just keep it a buck. Yeah. When you try to let's just keep it a buck.
Hey, speak on it.
A lot of it is not being completely honest because women like to hear that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
That's why men lie. Men lie, and I think Andrew Tate said this. He was one of the first people I heard say it. It's been said before, but men lie because, or I'm not even gonna go into it. But yeah, because I don't want to go all the way down that road because I know where it's gonna lead. Yeah, but yeah, so you got to ask yourself.
It's city girl culture though, right?
Yeah,
like
who benefits from pushing these narratives? And it's certainly not women. It's certainly not children. It's certainly not men. Who's benefiting? These corporations are becoming more powerful than countries, and nobody's even paying attention. Throughout all of human history, there have always been kings and conquerors, dictators that have wanted to conquer the world. They've built armies, they've gone north, and so we're going to kill everybody in that direction for absolutely no reason other than the fact that they love power and they love conquering. Yeah. Those people still exist, they just own companies. And there are people making decisions on our behalf. While we're arguing about who can go into what bathroom, they're making decisions on our behalf that's going to dictate the direction that humanity goes in forever. Yeah. So we're sitting here arguing about or sex or can men do this or women do that, but they're talking about putting us in the metaverse. Yeah. And nobody's paying attention to that. They're just moving little legislations to make us a little bit more slaves every single day. And because everybody's having a party, everybody's going and buying the new bag or the new purse or whatever the city girls told you to go do. Nobody's paying attention to this stuff.
Listen, right? Like, okay, but like, and I truly believe, bro, like that metaverse is going to be the collapse of society. Because can you imagine, right? If we create an interactive virtual world where like we can legit go in, walk, talk, and legit be somebody. Like, for example, right? If I become a trillionaire in the metaverse, how do I now, again, a trainer to where like I'm speaking to people, like I have my own business, my own career. I'm a trainer. People is actually like talking to me. I'm hearing voices. How do I go from being a trillionaire in the metaverse to then shutting off that thing, taking off like my VR, and how do I now come back to reality and wake up and go to a factory and like work for $20 an hour? Yeah. Come on, bro. It's over with.
You ain't gonna. And that's the thing. That's why everything is gonna go there. And it's about absolute control. Yeah. Now, if I could literally just turn you off with the press of a button, and that's what social media is becoming. We've given these companies the ability to control what we say. And then the companies are only controlling what we say because they get money from the advertisers. So the advertisers get the final word of what is allowed to be said and what is not allowed to be said. Yeah. So again, they're going to do things for the benefit of themselves. Companies do not do things because they care about women. They didn't get rid of Andrew Tate or Sneeko or whoever, all these people. They don't do these things because they care about women. They only promote things that they think is going to make them more profit. It's that simple. Yeah. Like, so when people go, oh yeah, they're for women, they're promoting feminism, they must be for women. No, they are for profit, and they think that women are more profitable because 65% of all consumer debt is owned by women.
Yeah.
Women are 2 times more likely to respond to an ad shown to them on Instagram. So if you want to have women buy more Lululemon leggings, get rid of Andrew Tate, and women are going to feel safe on your platform.
Yeah.
So they keep buying shit. That's what it's all about. It's a big billboard.
Here, let's speak about Sneeko, Andrew Tate, and others. Because I used to think that being a rapper was the most dangerous job on the planet. Hell no, bro. Being a rap pill creator,
it's getting crazy.
it's the most dangerous. Bro, can you listen? Like, and I don't think people truly understand how messed up like what his company's doing. Right? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine growing, creating a business, like quote unquote platform on like a particular site? Mm-hmm. Like making 50, 100K per month, feeding your family, doing what you got to do. And then you wake up one day and
your entire catalog is gone.
It's gone. Now, but again, your entire business model has been stripped away and taken away.
Right.
And they can't provide you a real reason as to why they take you down.
Yeah.
Right? And it's, you are dangerous.
Who decides that?
Exactly.
So who gets the power? The people who decide what's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what it's all about. It's all about ultimate power. They want to turn you off. Yeah. Like our money now is digital. Like our money, when we say money is being printed, that's just numbers on a keyboard now. It's not even tangible money anymore. Joe Biden, I don't want to get political, but Biden's trying to get rid of money. There's something called a CBDC. And while people were talking about gender and who's having Andrew Tate, CBDCs are coming out. And essentially they want to get rid of cash and they want to bring in a currency where essentially it's all digital. And that's just so they can control it and track everything that you spend. So now you get more taxes because everything that you do is through this CBDC, and they want to put a timer on your money. So they want to be able to go, you have to spend this money in this certain amount of time or it disappears.
Wow.
And that's because money is a currency. So if you keep it flowing, that's how you get a strong dollar. So, and while we're arguing about all this other stuff, they want absolute control, and the best way to get that absolute control is through technology. All those kings and conquerors that I was talking about before, Genghis Khan conquered Asia and part of Russia on horseback.
Yeah.
Get that nigga iPhone, see what he can do. Right? What? So like these people, they exist, and it's about absolute control. And the best way to get absolute control is to put people in this digital setting where you can just boop, turn them off if you want to. Man. And that's where we're going.
Yeah, right. So like, are you like pro like 5G? Like, so like apparently like there's this new thing coming out where it's like it's 5G towers, right? So where like, and they put a chip in you, and instead of like having a credit card or a phone, right? Like you are the machine now, to where you can just like walk into like a McDonald's, grab your food, walk out, and like your chip would just like automatically pay for it. So are you anti or pro technology improving that drastically?
I think here's the thing. When you make people lazy and fat and stupid and you just blobs essentially, you can sell them convenience. And that's what it is. They're taking our freedom to sell us convenience. I have a phone. I got my Android. They got my thumbprint. Because it's
you got an Android?
Yeah, I got an Android. But I have Apple stock too. So 8 out of 10 teenagers have iPhones. It's an investment for the future. Stock, So when people make fun of me, I go, keep buying iPhones, they're paying me. So but I have this phone. I could just put my finger on it, boop, pops up. Yeah. It's a little bit more convenient than typing in the password, but now they have my thumbprint. So they're selling us convenience. Oh, you can just walk in the store and walk out. You don't even have to have pennies in your pockets. That's so old school. Don't do that anymore. But eventually it gives them more power over you, because if they want to turn off that chip in your arm, they can. And when it comes to this technology stuff, we're at the fork in the road where we're going to have to decide what we want to do. Either we're going to go all the way in, like metaverse, chip in our ass and hope our billionaire warlords don't goddamn take advantage of us, or we're going to decide that what technology is right now is unsustainable because it's damaging to the human psyche. So we're at that fork in the road, and I think the people are making the decisions for us because we're too busy. We're addicts really to this social media stuff. So if I don't think. And if I think that it's had, look at Instagram, bro. Instagram has only been around for about 10 years.
That's crazy to think about.
And look at what it's done to humanity in just 10 years. We're almost totally different than where we were.
Changed forever.
Yeah, and so if we're not ready to deal with Instagram, I don't think we're ready to deal with chips in our brains. But,
Yeah, right. So now, so like when I found out that like Andrew Tate got banned, right? Now, the billionaire warlord thing is a very interesting concept, right? Because and I'm realizing is the issue isn't them, is now our mindset of, like, for example, man, like 2,000 years ago, once a king becomes tyrannical, he gets overthrown, right? Now, when that thing happened to Andrew Tate, and I look up and I see other content creators talking about, man, bro, listen, it's their platform, man, don't like it, leave. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, we got to a point now where, like, it's like niggas is actually now siding with the tyrants, siding with the people who's oppressing, and saying that, like, niggas like us who's getting oppressed and complaining about that shit, niggas leave. So what, right?
Yeah. Because it's because it hasn't affected them yet.
Yeah.
And once it starts to affect you and you start to see people disappear for having certain opinions, because that's how power works.
China, CCP.
Nobody, yeah, you already, but nobody that gets power gives it back. That's not how the game works. They tighten the leash. When we first started with taxes, income taxes was started by convincing the poor people that they were only going to promote income taxes to the rich people. And so poor people were like, yeah, fuck those people. They got all the money anyway. Fuck Andrew Tate. He got all this power, James. You know, why did it doesn't matter, right? And then eventually it got to the point where the rich people who are okay, Andrew Tate's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. The rich people who are paying those taxes are okay because now they have the money to hire lawyers and avoid those taxes, while the poor people are left carrying the bag because they don't have the resources. So when this gets to a certain point where you start to get silenced yourself, that's when people are going to care, but it's probably going to be too late.
Yo, let's be real though, man. So when I look at Andrew Tate out of here, Sneeko out of here, now obviously there's a chain of command, right? And you know, like, now that Andrew Tate and Sneeko is gone, the next tier now is Poor Man Podcast, Fresh and Fit, Steph is Cold, et cetera, right?
Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. I gotta give him a shout out.
Listen, he's amazing, right? So we did reach out, and he's going through some, like, right? But, like, once he's done with those things, and he's definitely coming to have that conversation with us, right?
Yeah.
So are you ever in fear of, yo, nigga, we next? And, like, honestly, there's nothing we can do to, like, control this.
Yeah, if you see my channel, I haven't posted in 11 days. It's because I'm preparing myself for a situation where I don't have a platform anymore.
Why?
So, because at any moment it can be taken away. And if you have the resources to prevent yourself from being homeless after your business gets taken away, I'm just diversifying, essentially.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how sustainable it is in the long run. Because did you know that they played Sneeko in the Senate?
Wow, I did not
you hear
know
that?
No.
They played Sneeko in the Senate and said that his messaging was harmful, dangerous, and extremist.
Wow.
Who decides what's harmful, dangerous, and extremist? But they played it in the Senate and said, we got to get rid of this radical rhetoric.
Yeah.
And to me personally, I don't think that much of it is radical. I think that teaching a young child that they can determine their own gender before they even know if Santa Claus is real is more dangerous and extreme. But nobody cares about that. It's about if a guy is saying you need to be the best version of yourself, stop allowing comfort so they can't, stop allowing yourself to be so comfortable that you're easily to take advantage of.
Yeah.
When those people start to talk, when those guys that have protected society for all of human history start to speak up about the tyranny that's happening, that's when you want to silence them because it's not beneficial to the money you're making.
Wait, they actually play Sneeko in the Senate. Now, again, this is where, right, like being like a black man, right? Because all of our lives, and we were told, yo, listen, the Republicans, conservatives, they're your enemy. These niggas don't fuck with you. Don't fuck with them, right? And now, as an adult, when I see things like, yo, like the stifling of free speech, that's not coming from conservatives. That's coming from Democrats and liberals.
People who say they're tolerant,
yeah, right.
But they will take your livelihood if you don't agree with them.
Yeah, right. And then when we see like some things like, yo, like, you know, they're now pushing to where they can come into my home, and if my kid is, you know, saying, yo, he wants to be a female, they can come into my home, take my kid, and like do whatever they want to do to him to like, right. Now we're seeing there's a particular group inside pushing for these things and stifling on our natural rights. At what point do we say, yo, listen, like the enemy isn't conservatives, the enemy is, you know, people who are trying to stifle your rights, which is them other niggas.
I think it's when you talk about black folks in particular, I think it's when we realize that the Democratic Party is essentially just playing on our heartstrings. Now, look, I'm not saying the Republicans are great.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying either party is great.
They're
but
more
what I'm
honest,
saying,
though.
I think so. In the current time, definitely. I think that it's more like we have presidential candidates, and instead of giving most of our vote automatically to one political party just because that's what you're supposed to do if you black, we look at both parties and we ask ourselves, or we ask them, what can we get from you? And the one that comes up with the best plan that's going to benefit African Americans specifically, those are the people we choose to vote for. It's that simple. What are you doing? It's not about what you're saying, it's what are you doing? We're okay with just taking the word for it and going, somebody just saying, yeah, I'm going to help black folks or doing whatever, but they never do it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at who comes up with the best plan for what, as a plan for the best thing to benefit African Americans, and that's how we start to gauge our vote. Stop giving our vote to people that for no reason. We're just giving away a free vote. So
what's your thoughts on like Kanye wearing that like White Lives Matter shirt? Because I'll be real. Now again, like when I think about the White Lives Matter shirt, right? There's different ways to look at it. Now, my way to look at it is this. Now, if he's doing it as a complete adversary to Black Lives Matter, that's some cool shit. But if he's just wearing it just to say, listen, like, hey, White Lives Matter, I think White Lives Matter, like what's wrong with that? Cool, right? So like, what's your thoughts on him wearing the White Lives Matter shirt?
I think he has an album dropping, or a shoe, or a hoodie, and people are gonna buy it anyway. Let's just stop it. Like this outrage that people have for things that billionaires do, it doesn't hold any weight because as soon as they drop a new product, these people go support it anyway. So I mean, for me personally, I get what maybe what he's trying to do, because if we're just completely honest, there is an attack on white folks. There's certain things black folks can get away with and then go, oh, you're trying to get me in trouble for it because I'm black. Like the lady that did the Black Lives Matter thing, and they were out there spending the money on mansions. And then when she got confronted by another black woman, Candace Owens, she tried to say the only reason that she's coming for her is because she's a black woman. Like, let's stop. It's because you use millions of dollars to buy yourself a mansion.
Listen.
That's why they're going after you. But they'll use that as a guise to try to hide behind a curtain of oppression, so they're never held responsible for their actions.
Bro, but like this situation is the most nigga shit I've ever seen.
It's crazy.
She gave $1 million a year to her baby daddy. Come on. Not even her husband, her baby daddy gave it $1 million a fucking year, like to run like what, like live, like, come on, bro, like live performances or some bullshit like that, bro. You feel me? Come on, bro. Here, so like, again, right? Like, I often see that the red pill, right? That's not a political movement, but like most people who take the red pill and digest it, they usually have a certain political affiliation. Why do you think that is? That like most people who take the red pill usually go the conservative route.
I think it's because if you look at like when I was in high school, I was liberal. Because it was the conservatives that were the ones that were trying to push religion into science. And I was like, I don't agree with that. I'm more liberal at this point. Now that I'm older, it's the liberal people that are trying to push LGBTQ on the kids. And I go, that's a little much. I'm a little bit more conservative now, especially when it comes to traditional family values, because I think that strong families build strong countries. So right now, I think it's leaning more conservative because that's just the sway of the pendulum. I think that it's been an overcorrection for the left, and now we're starting to get to the point where we're making outlandish promotions from the left. And I think if you're a reasonable person and you sit there and have a conversation with yourself and you're just completely honest, it's about honesty, you'll come to the conclusion that right now, the Republican Party is a little bit more based in reality. And I know that sounds crazy. Some people go feel however they feel, but they're more based in reality. And me personally, a huge proponent of it is the kids, because now I'm getting to the age where I'm a little older. I have a wife. I'm planning on having children. I want to be a little bit more conscious about what's going on that side. And I think when you're promoting things like maps, I don't know if you heard about this, but they want to identify pedophiles to take away the stigma.
I heard that.
Yeah, they want to identify them as what was it? Minor attracted persons.
Yeah.
That's what they want to call them to take away the stigma.
Insane.
So when you create an environment where kids are going to drag shows, what kind of grown adult wants to be essentially a stripper in front of children? What kind of grown adult wants to do that?
A pedophile.
Bingo. And the thing is, I'm saying you're opening up the door for certain people to come in. I'm not saying everybody in that community is a part of that, and I understand. But
Wait. Bro, listen. I'm gonna say this. if you dressed in drag and you want sexual gratification for a kid watching you shake fake titties, nigga, you a pedophile.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. So yeah, I have a platform. I have a channel that I want to keep. So this is the part of the law, you know, when you start to decide, because you understand that you still got to play by the rules until you get to the point where you're Andrew Tate and you can fly around on private jets. Yeah. And I'm not there yet. So I do have to be a little bit careful. But like when you create an environment where you're telling teachers that they're allowed to have sexual conversations with kids without the parents' consent, you're creating an environment where people that want to have sexual conversations with kids are going to come in, and those are the kind of people I'm not with. That I don't like. School is for math and science. I don't care about your gender identity, whatever you may be promoting. Keep it to yourself. Teach math and science. Let's do that.
Right. So like, there's something where even like the school system, right? I think there was like this study that shows, like the school system itself is like designed for women, females, right?
Yeah.
Like, look, like, because for example, like tell like a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old to sit in a desk, or a 5-year-old boy, right? Who's full with so much emotion, to sit in a desk for 6 hours, that right there is something that's catering to women, right? Because they're more passive. Right? So like, do you think that the school system right now needs to be changed?
Everything is like that, though. Like remember when I was talking about earlier with the emotional intelligence thing. Everything, if you don't behave like a woman as a man, you're seen as bad in some kind of way. Like if you want to go out and have nice cars, be able to sleep with attractive women, those are natural desires for men. Those are natural, but that's suppressed. While a woman's natural desire to go out and try to hunt for the top guy, do whatever she wants to do, that's all embraced and powerful and pushed and promoted. So yeah, when it comes to the kids, you're not gonna have a 5-year-old boy sit in a desk. There's nothing wrong with a 5-year-old boy that wants to move around, and putting him on opioids. ADHD, putting him on opioids isn't the best way to solve that problem. And you know, when it comes to the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, they created the current education system. He created it with Dale Carnegie in cahoots. They created it for the sake of building obedient workers. It's not for people that can consciously think for themselves. They want you to get used to being on a schedule. They want you to be used to shutting up. They want you to be used to getting on these opioids, listening to people and taking charge of people who have not even necessarily more experience in life than you do. They want you to get used to that so that when you come out, you can be an obedient worker. And that's literally word for word verbatim quoted what he said. So, I mean, if you want to look into that as far as the education system not being beneficial, especially for young boys, it's just a fact at this point.
Man, listen, but let's like speak on like that pendulum, right? So I've always stated this, like most oppressed class, right? We all start off on this end of the pendulum. And then eventually it will hit that middle. But then, we will continue to press some shit until it goes the other way, and now we're privileged. And again, you can't be privileged without somebody being underprivileged, right? Now, when it comes to feminism, women definitely started off on this end, right? Where, I believe the first wave was pushing for voting rights and social rights. The second wave was for professional rights. And then eventually we got to a point now where we were equal. And then they kept pushing. Now where do you think the pendulum is right now for
it's extreme feminism. It's extreme. We're in a culture right now that's extremely feminized, definitely. I don't even think that's arguable. But when it comes to feminism and its origin, when you talk about the right to vote, see, it's an interesting conversation because women didn't want the right to vote because the right to vote came with the fact that you had to register for the draft.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so originally women didn't want the right to vote. It was men that said, okay, we're going to let them vote and they don't have to register for the draft because they're women. So women have always had privileges in society. Let's not get that. Men have fought and died by the hundreds of millions, historically speaking, to protect women and children. We build societies. That's what we do. We protect women and children. That's the reason why we build societies. We cater to women's natural negative emotional traits like depression and anxiety. And to cure that depression and anxiety and to help them out, we create a safe world. So men have been dying by the millions to protect women all throughout human history.
Absolutely.
And men, and the thing about feminism that makes me not the one thing that makes me the most upset, but one thing that does make me upset about feminism is they try to teach a narrative that women have been drug along throughout history by these men that they never wanted to be a part of. And the truth of the matter is it was really men and women against nature. That's what all of human history has been. Men and women trying to make it safe enough to have children and to be and to have this glorious life and to have these nice societies, buildings going up against nature, against getting eaten and dying from it being too cold. You know what I mean? So that men have always had the burden of performance, and we still do. And women have always had certain privileges that we're just not honest about. Like they'll say, like the feminism movement will say, women were sexually suppressed or oppressed because men just couldn't handle a woman's strong sexuality or whatever. No, that's not the case at all. It's because pregnancy was dangerous. If you got pregnant in a time where if you get a cut, you got to cut your arm off and go find a hole to die in, having an open wound was dangerous. So you wanted to make sure that the man you were with was going to be around. And that's why we created the institution of marriage. Marriage is almost exclusively beneficial to women and children. But they've said that, you know, men have oppressed. That's one of the reasons, is because it was extremely dangerous. The second reason is because STDs were rampant. Syphilis killed hundreds of millions of people, historically speaking, and it attacks women and children. So if you ever want to wipe out a society, allow for women to be promiscuous when there are viruses that can kill people. And until 1950s, when men created penicillin to protect us from that, and men created the birth control pill to protect women from having pregnancies that they didn't want to have, you know, you had to suppress female sexuality because a promiscuous life was almost guaranteed to wipe out civilization.
Yeah. Yo, you're like, here, right? So like, speaking of like marriage, right? Yo, I never quite understood this concept, right? Again, like I'm African, so we kind of do marriage a tad bit differently, right? But like, I never quite understood, like, for example, I would never enter into a business agreement with anyone if that business agreement incentivizes the opposing party to break it. Meaning, like, if they break it, they'll be better off, right?
Yeah.
So why do we enter into marriage when right now, listen, modern marriage, any woman who, you know, is married or, you know, in a long-term, you know, like agreement with a successful guy, she's incentivized to break it.
Yeah.
So one, are we ever going to get to a point where marriage becomes a thing of the past, where like with the light of it being a scam gets like shine so fucking bright that shit, you know, just don't even, you know, like happen no more.
It had to shine bright because we got to a point where culture was so feminized that women were being incentivized and encouraged to take advantage of men.
Yeah.
Like you look at the city girls, pretty much what they're doing is promoting a lifestyle where women are able to extract resources from a man without reciprocating any value. And you are seen as a higher value woman the more you're able to extract resources from a man without giving him any value. That's why what a simp is a man that's giving his resources to a woman that doesn't provide any value back to him. And that reciprocation could be in terms of her cooking you a plate. If I gotta be willing to die for you if somebody walks into the house, you can make me a plate. Let's just be completely honest. So like, I just think that's one of the reasons I think that there's an attack on the American family, because it's obvious that our marriage laws haven't caught up with women being in the workplace. And if we don't catch up, we think more on logic. So when you start to look at the numbers, and any good investor is going to look at the numbers, and when you see 50% divorce rate, and 50% of the time you're going to lose half your stuff, you're going to lose all of your assets, your kids, your house, your car, it's just a bad bet. So there are a lot of men not engaging in marriage because of the current laws, and that's something that needs to be changed. And nobody's addressing it because nobody wants American families to exist because it's not profitable. Yeah,
facts, man. Yo, you just like spoke on a simp. Now, who's more fixable, a simp or an incel?
Who's more fixable, a simp or an incel? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. It depends on what kind of, it depends. I think it depends on the person, because if you're an incel and you actually want to take the steps to become better, you can.
Yeah.
And it depends on, like for the simps, it depends because, well, I don't know, because
a simp will fight you, bro. You know what I mean, right?
I don't know, bro. That's a good question, though. What? That's a good question.
Right? Because I always say this, like, an incel I could probably help, right? Because again, like, if an incel is somebody who just is full of hate because they just can't get ass, right? But they're still on like our own, like, same like wavelength, right?
Yeah.
A simp would tell you, "Fuck you, nigga. I'm gonna be the white knight." A fucking simp will kill you for trying to like tell him, bro, like you're doing it
wrong.
Yeah,
that's because that's what he's been conditioned to do. And the thing is, women will tell you to behave that way even if they know it's not true.
Yeah.
Like women will tell you, oh, women will have you in the friend zone and say you're the best person. He's my best friend. He's my best guy, and will never date the guy because they're not completely honest about what they want. And it's because when women, they want the things, but they don't want to have to say they want it. Like a woman will want flowers, but she ain't gonna want to tell you that she wants flowers. So they want these guys that are a little bit more masculine and aggressive. You could tell because those are the men that they end up dating. But when you have a guy and you can extract resources from him, keep him in that spot all day. Because he's gonna be the guy that you go and cry to, and he's gonna come fix your dresser whenever you want without you reciprocating any value or giving any effort towards him. So I understand why women enjoy simps, because it's completely beneficial to them. Yeah. But it's destructive for the guy that's in there or that's stuck in that mentality, because he's not getting anything of value reciprocated to him. It's that simple. If a woman reciprocates value, you should treat her great. She's a great woman, blah, blah, blah. You should be with her, treat her nicely. But if she refuses to reciprocate value because she thinks that cooking and cleaning is oppressive, then you got to get rid of her.
Yo, and simping right now is so expensive because of the city girls, right? Look, 25 years ago, right? You used to be able to simp and it'd be affordable. Meaning, buying her like a Michael Kors little watch for like $150. Cool. Nowadays, man, bro, I wish you would give a bitch a fucking Michael Kors watch. She gonna laugh in your face. Yeah. She want the Chanel bag, the LV bag, the Birkins. You feel me?
Yeah.
Bro, at some point something has to change, yo. Because if females continue to be this materialistic.
Yeah, but that's what they're conditioned to be, because again, these companies are promoting that you can find happiness through material goods. Yeah. And that's what's keeping people ultimately sad. It's because everybody is chasing happiness. The thing is, and when you chase happiness without wanting the struggle that comes with happiness, because anytime you're going to be actually happy and fulfilled, it comes with suffering beforehand. If you want it to be genuine. If you want pleasure, though, doing drugs, alcohol, things that are bad, essentially everything that's bad for you, eating pizza, all those things, they give you pleasure, which is it's fake happiness, essentially, is momentary happiness, but it deteriorates you. So many people are being told to chase happiness, but are also being told to be comfortable and avoid struggle and avoid hardship and just sit down and be emotional. But those are two conflicting ideas, because to be happy genuinely and to have genuine fulfillment, you have to suffer to some degree. Yeah. So we're pushing these ideas that make people more materialistic, that give people everything that they want in terms of drugs, alcohol, comfort, and tells them they're okay for having all of those things. Yeah. And then we expect them to not be materialistic. Of course they're going to be materialistic, especially when you have things like Instagram, and now men are competing. It's more competitive than ever before for men, because some girl in Venezuela with an iPhone now has access to all of the not all of the billionaire men, but many millionaire men on the planet. So if you're a guy that's in a small town, you're competing against every guy on the planet now. And that's what made it more difficult. And women are very impressionable, especially when it comes to social ideas. That's why most of the punishment for women is social. So that's why when women want to get away from something, they first say don't judge, don't shame, don't do these things, because the social aspect keeps them shaming, exactly, the social aspect keeps them responsible. So they want to get rid of the social aspect, because women rely more on social circles to gain power and to continue to exist, essentially. Yeah. So they rely more on the social aspect. And so women are very impressionable socially. So when they're on these apps all day scrolling because they're addicted to them for attention, you see city girls, a girl that you believe look like you. Why can't I have that nice thing? Why isn't this pathetic man next to me providing me with the lifestyle that this girl's getting? Yeah. I believe I deserve that too. So, you just get to that situation.
Here, right? So then where do hypergamy end and gold digging start? Meaning, we will tell women this, right? Yo, listen, you should probably go for that good guy because he's going to be successful and take care of you, right? So that's natural hypergamy, right? So where they should go after good men who is going to take care of them, right? But then where do the hypergamy end and where do gold digging start?
I think, okay. That's a good question. I want to think, because I don't want to.
Right. Look. Right. Hey, bro. People will say, "Yo, listen, Michelle Obama. Yo, she met Obama when he was a Harvard student, bro. Yeah. Again, and he had nothing. But women are very intelligent. She knows. Listen, he's a smart, good-looking dude at Harvard. He's gonna be something in 4 years. You feel me? Right. So all women at some point go dig for gold. So is gold digging just bad because they have no plans on giving something back?
No, I think hypergamy, or when you talk about gold digging, that's when the man has already reached the finish line. Yeah. So if you're there for the process, you're not really seen as a gold digger. You might be a little bit hypergamous because women are generally hypergamous. They want to date equal to or up. Okay, so women are gonna be hypergamous, but like you become a gold digger when the man already has his value, and the only thing that's attracting you to that man is the value that he's already worked hard to gain on his own. Yeah, and then you actively seek out to kind of sabotage that value by taking it for yourself. And it's a problem. The richest women in the world are all rich from divorce. Like, let's just be completely honest. Jeff Bezos worth like $32 billion. That's crazy. Not Jeff Bezos, but his ex-wife worth like $32 billion.
Bro. Can you imagine, right? Again, and this kind of shows, right, like the difference between men and women, right? She got 40 billion or 32 billion, and she wants to give it all away, relax, and just sit on like her low wealth, right? And date and do charity work, while Jeff Bezos has a conquering mindset of, yo, I got 100 billion, I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna, you feel me? Like, I'm gonna keep going.
Keep going. Because men just have a thing where once you get into that mode, you get into that drive, you're kind of unstoppable. So like, he wants to continue to conquer because that's what guys are we're inclined to do. You give a guy a way to make $100 every hour, he's gonna try to make $2,400 every single day. You give a woman that same ability, she might work 2 hours out of that day and go, hey, I'm good, I'm chilling. Because they don't have the natural drive to continue to compete. That's literally what testosterone is. It's a hormone that promotes competition. That's what testosterone. It gives you a huge competitive advantage. So when women are trying to compete with men in the workforce, one of the reasons why it's so hard for them is because they're just not naturally designed to deal with the same amount of stress that a man is made to deal with. Because historically speaking, men have always had to compete. So life is just continuous competition to get your genes into the next generation of human beings. So that's what it is for men.
Yo, like, how about sports, right? So like, I think one of like your most like viewed video is you reacting to like, I think it's like a volleyball, man volleyball, or right?
It was actually the men versus women. I know the one you're talking about. It was actually the men versus women in sports video. That one's got 12 million, but the one you're talking about, it has like 5 or 6 million, and that's 5 or 6 million. It was like netball. It was some sport like netball or something.
He got a bag, man. Listen,
I'm broke, listen,
man.
Nothing.
Listen, man. Just in case you're trying to figure out, right? Go to your favorite YouTuber and tell me if they got just one video with 12 million, let alone 12 and 5 million, right? But but let's speak on that, right? So for me, it's kind of like the catch-22, right? To where like we say, yo, they should compete in the sport designed for their biological gender, right? But we don't quite believe that, right? Because look, if a trans man, right, a female who's now taking testosterone, et cetera, and trying to be a man, she now has an advantage over women. So should she compete with other women?
If she's taking testosterone?
Yeah.
I don't know if she should be allowed to compete with other women if she's taking testosterone.
Exactly, right?
But there's a huge scale and there's a gray area in there where you start to go, one time out of millions of people, this person took testosterone or had a little higher level testosterone. Should they not be able to compete? You know, that's a little different.
She's transitioning though, right?
Yeah, that's a little different than a man with structural advantages because he's 6'5" and has the hands of a baseball glove competing against a 5'2" woman. Like, this is a little bit different.
Yeah, but the question though, Russell, like, what's the solution for it then? Like Harris, should they just have their own league?
Like a transgender league?
Yeah.
I don't think there'd even be enough competitors.
Yeah.
I think we just need to stop it.
Like, ban them from like leagues or what?
I think they can compete in sports, but when it comes to competing, you can have like a smaller league locally or something where you do that, but we just need to stop. We got to stop it. Like, we can't have guys competing against, that's what we can't have guys competing, ex-guys competing against now. Yeah. What kind of guy wants to put on a wig and then go dominate women in sports? Like, think about the kind of man, like, I'm a man, you a man, right? We know that we have advantages over women. This is why we protect them. This is why we do certain things as men. Chivalry is because we understand that men are built different than women. Yeah. Imagine a man, because he still has a man's mind, going, I want to become a woman, not because they're beautiful, not because they're elegant, not because I admire the fact that they can carry life, but because I want to dominate them in sports. That's a little odd. Yeah, right? So, you know, it's a certain mentality that comes with it. But I just think when it comes to the transgenders in sports, it's not sustainable. Yeah. Like, we don't have to find a way to deal with every small, very small minority of people. there are about 2% of people that have actually gone through with the operation and have become trans.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying to structure our society around that small 2% of people, and we're messing up a lot of stuff. So like with there are like 3% of people that are amputees and only have one foot. But when they go into Foot Locker, they still got to buy 2 shoes.
Absolutely.
It's because you can't cater society to you can't make society cater to every single small minority. I'm sorry, that just comes with it.
Yeah,
so
facts.
if you decide that you want to be a woman, you're a woman and you want to become a man, or you're a man and you want to become a woman, sports ain't gonna be a thing for you. That's simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, what do you want to do? Or we're gonna have to restructure our whole society in order to compensate for 2% of the population. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yo, definitely, man. Here. Oh, yo, also too. Yo, tell me, like, when did you discover the manosphere? Now, again, like, there's the manosphere, which is like the, I guess now is mainstream, right? And then there's the manosphere, like the nigga shit, to where like it's like these like 12, 15 man panels with like with like 200 people watching, them going back and forth, doxing, screaming.
For hours
bro, that shit crazy. You feel me?
Crazy.
So when did you, I guess, dive into the manosphere?
I actually kind of stumbled into it because I was just having conversations that I would normally have with my boys.
Yeah.
And I think that if men are in social circles with other strong competitive men and they have honest conversations about what they actually desire in the world and what the world is actually like, you'll come to more red pill conclusions, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stumbled into it by having conversations with my audience that I have with my friends.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why, like, the Poor Man's Podcast and the whole setup, like, I do all of my editing on my phone.
Really?
All of my editing, all of my recording, I do everything on my phone. And
wow.
it's very, it's a small operation where I'm doing everything myself. And it's because I want to keep it organic. I want it to feel like a conversation with a guy that's kind of interesting that you might have just met at a bar or that you could have a couple beers with. Because that's what I am. I'm a regular guy.
Wait though, right? Like, so is the mic like for prop?
Yeah, well, I have the mic. I have the mic. So when I first started, I should say when I first started, I actually had an app called Droid Cam where I would put the USB in and you could hook it into your computer and use it as a webcam. So I did that at first. I would do the editing on there. And so I do have lights and stuff now, like a couple lights, but it's a very...
You going Hollywood, PMP? Come on, man. Hollywood? Got lights and shit now, man. Got the mic. Come on, man.
No, but some people are pushing for me to do like higher quality projects, and maybe I'll do that eventually. Yeah. But right now, I think the organicness of the channel kind of helps. I think it makes people interested in what I'm saying.
But I will say this, though. Like, you definitely now put more effort in your thumbnails. Yeah. Right? Because, bro, starting off...
But I do those on my phone, too. But
listen, it was the same exact picture or face of you doing the...
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And then, like, whatever you're filming the video is... Yo, now... But now you're actually like, or like putting more effort into it. But bro, like, why not just like outsource that shit? You feel me? Like,
it's because I like to be hands-on. I like to do it myself.
You rich now, man.
I don't know. Man, look, I'm gonna say
outsource that shit.
Yeah, but there's a certain part of it where it feels like I'm creating something with my own hands, and I take pride in it. And when it's done, I get to go look at what I've done. You know what I mean? So there's that aspect of it. And like with the thumbnails, I became better because I looked into what makes a good thumbnail, because the first picture, it's gonna create some controversy because you have to draw an emotional response. Yeah. That's how people click on videos. People like to act like even with the media, they'll go, Kim, why do they show us Kim Kardashian's butt? It's because that's what you click on. You give people carrots and you give people carrots and you give people Cheetos. Most people are gonna take the Cheetos. Yeah. So you gotta lure them in with the good thumbnails and just having like faces on your thumbnails. Faces are important because it makes people stop. So, like even Rolex, when they sell watches, they put the hands on 10 and 2 to make more of a smiley face. So it draws the eye naturally. So like just looking at little things like that, those are things that I researched into myself, and I take pride in making the art myself, bro. Yeah. But I do understand what you're saying. At some point, it has become more tough to deal with other things that I'm doing as far as investments, having a family, especially potentially bringing in a kid maybe soon. Yeah. And
at 27, nah, man, that's too young for a kid, man.
You think so?
Yeah, listen, right, cause I'm 24, right? Bro, I can't even picture myself like having a kid right now, man.
Yeah, I mean,
cause right now, like I'm grinding with purpose, bro. Like I can't you feel me? Like stop what I'm doing.
That's because it's a little bit harder. You used to be able to work at a factory for 50 years and have enough money to sustain a whole entire family. So I understand why more men are waiting later in life to make sure they have that security before they have a family. Like some women will be like, why doesn't he want to marry me? And they don't understand that men understand how important being able to provide
Finances.
for your family is. So if you're not in a position where you feel like you can provide for your family and you don't want to get married because you don't feel like you're in that position, you know, that's a responsible man to me.
Yo, listen.
Until you get there, you know? So,
no, and females don't truly understand, like, again, some women don't truly understand, I guess, the value of that dollar, right? Like look, like, again, right? Like my girl will say, yo, listen, I want this LV bag. Cool, here. 2 weeks later, oh my God, Tesla's doing a sale. Here, right?
Yeah.
But like, that's just like, right? So like that bag's just like costing like a 4 racks. Yo, like, you don't know how much hours I gotta put in on my YouTube. Comment, do this, right? Just to make like what, 15, 20 racks a month. 4K go to that shit. That's like a fourth of my income going.
Yeah.
But like, they just think, yo, like, oh, you know, and like he got it.
Yeah, it's because they don't have to compete for it. Like they don't have any reason to care because women sit and wait and reap the benefits. That's kind of what they do. They are important because they motivate men to continue to build and protect societies, and they choose the men for the next generation of society builders. So they are important in that aspect, and that is a very important part of humanity. But yeah, women sit around and reap the benefits. That's why when you see a lot of the community programs, women push for that stuff because they're more egalitarian and everybody should just have everything, even if they don't have to work for it, because they don't have to compete for procreation. Men understand that off the rip. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it, and you better find a way to get it if you ever want to be taken serious, because men, you could live your entire life and nobody will give a shit about you. Like a woman, you could be a 2, overweight, obese, never have put any effort into your life, but you can still go into a club and get some attention. There are 80% of guys.
You go Tinder and get a lot of attention.
Exactly. 80% of guys will go into that same club, and no matter how much work they put into themselves, well, some of the ones that haven't put as much work into themselves, they're never going to get any attention. And women don't have an understanding of how genuinely lonely men can become because they don't really have to compete under those same environments, because it's more, I'm just gonna wait around and wait for the perfect guy, and like certain mentalities that they have come from the fact that they don't have to compete for reproduction. And that's a big part of it.
Yo, Sydney, can I get 2 waters, please? Yeah, bro. Got them what? It's been what, like an hour 40. Yeah, because my fucking mouth is dry.
Mine is too. You start talking, you can see like
man. You feel me? My mouth dry as a motherfucker, man. God, listen, bro. Listen, like. This camera is seeing my like Negro chap ass lips and shit. Come on, man. You feel me? Nah, yo, here, right? But like, who was the first like big content creator in the manosphere though to embrace you?
First big one, I think, was O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to him. Yo, that man is, I mean,
I love O'Shea.
You talk about Kevin Samuels being the godfather. This man is the guy behind the scenes illustrating and making sure everything goes smoothly and uniting people together under the same kind of movement. And even with Kevin Samuels, he was the guy that brought Kevin Samuels into the manosphere and was one of the original people that gave Kevin Samuels a platform when Kevin Samuels had nobody looking at him. So O'Shea Duke Jackson, and actually had Kevin...
O'Shea is in like so like speak on O'Shea though. So like, and his story is captivating. So and he eventually say, yo, fuck this westernized bullshit, bro. Like, we out of here, bro. We go into these African countries, getting these bad African women for like $10 in our pockets. Like, we now, like, speak on that though, man. So, like, how beneficial, like, do you think that is for like American men to say, yo, listen, like, our women are here, they're like not submissive, they're not being cooperative. We are gone and going back to Uganda, Kenya, or wherever they are, and getting those foreign women and living there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
you get those men are exercising their options as they should. Women are competing in a global marketplace too. So you got women that'll go and they'll get on Instagram and talk to a millionaire in Miami. No problem with her to fly out and go get a millionaire in Miami. But when a millionaire in Miami goes, I don't like the options around me because a lot of these women are spoiled. They grow up with a certain mentality that they're oppressed, even though they have certain benefits that they just can't see, whatever it may be. And he wants to go to another country. Now he's deemed bad. So everybody's competing. And I think those dudes are just exercising their options. And when it comes to traditional values, when you go to countries that don't have the luxury that we have, you find out that they value their men a lot more. Because they're not in a situation where they can't, where they have to. You know, so
here, but where like I guess like my issue comes in again is not with O'Shea, it's the other content creators, right? Because I never truly seen O'Shea do this, right? Is these dudes, you know, like who probably got like 20,000, 30,000 followers, right? They will go to these and other countries and say, yo, I'm about to show y'all how to Mac. Bro, these women are hungry, starving.
Yeah.
They gonna go home with any nigga with $5 for them, right? So, like, how do you feel like when you see like these dudes, content creators showing men how to mac and talk to women overseas, like, giving us like perception that they're just like all world mac daddies? When nah, bro, like you're just overseas talking to poor women.
Yeah, I don't really like maybe the perception that you're a mac daddy. I guess is bad, but. I mean, that's what it is, though. The guy with the resources that could provide you a certain lifestyle is the one that women are going to go for, whether it's just a little bit more expensive in America. So if you don't have those resources, yet you want to be treated like a man of value, because although you're not a millionaire, you still have good values. You're still consistent. You're still disciplined. Just because you're not a millionaire doesn't mean you don't deserve to have a wife that values you.
Of course.
So, if those guys are just going to get a woman that values them, I can't knock them for that. Yeah. But it is a little weird when you try to act like it's just your game. Yeah. Let's be honest, it's some of the resources play a part of that too. But that's okay because the resources play a part everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Here, so like speaking on like the quote unquote like self-improvement, how to get laid content, right? Now, I feel like the Simpson incels, bro, they're being passed back and forth like horse, right? Meaning like these like OnlyFans chicks, they had their like pockets and wallets Simpson, right? They had the Sims pockets and wallets on lock. Yeah. And then the self-improvement guys, right? Again, not the real ones, like like the pimps. Like they come and say, yo, listen, bro, don't spend no money on no woman. Hell no. Bro, listen, don't buy no OnlyFans. No, come and give me $900 on my course on how to get, finer or like more in shape, or how to get laid for free, right? To me, that shit is just like, both sides are just passing back and forth these like Simpson insults and like exploiting them, right? So like, what's your take on that, man? Like these dudes charging $1,000 for these like these like ebooks on how to get laid.
It depends on how effective it is and if you've actually put forth effort in it's about your. What's the word I'm looking for? It's about your intent. Like, if your intent is to just make money off dudes that are in a miserable position, obviously you're a piece. Yeah. You're a piece of shit. Yeah. But if your intent is to actually help these guys, but some of these guys don't want to help themselves because it actually takes work and it takes suffering and being uncomfortable, well, then that's on them. So they can spend $1,000 on the course, but if they don't apply the things in the course, that's on them. Yeah. So I'm for a free marketplace, and I think that if you want to go and spend your money to give to some girl, that's on you if that's what you want to do. But I wouldn't promote it, because I don't think that it's going to be any good for you. And it's kind of gay. Yeah. It's kind of gay because you're giving it to girls, and those girls are managed by men that are sitting there typing you at night while you're saying, oh, I'm beating my meat to you or whatever. It's a guy on the other line.
And you're paying for it. Come on, man.
China ain't messaging you. Let's just be completely honest. True. That's kind of gay.
No, right. Look, though. And what's even like more gay is, bro, it's the strangest thing ever, right? Guys will pay for these like request videos, right? Yo, here, like here's $100. I want to see you suck somebody's dick. Yeah. What the, bro? Why would you pay for that?
Men have become so weak that you're willing to pay a woman astronomical amounts of money that some guys to not even get any physical connection. At least in the past, you pay a prostitute, you get some play. You paying a prostitute, you at least get a little something. You paying a stripper, you get a little dance. Y'all giving these women thousands of dollars, and they're not even giving anything to you. Just a little digital picture or whatever it may be. You won't even get no pleasure from that. So that's on them, though. But the thing is, the social media companies promote it, and they don't do anything about it because it's also profitable for them. Exactly. So you get the resources from the women, or you get money from women by selling them leggings, and you get money from men by having women there, because that's what all companies do. Like nightclubs. You got a bunch of guys huddled in there trying to attract a couple of women that walk in. You get the women in there, you try to give them free drink, or you try to give them free drinks, you try to give them free entry to get the women in there because you know the guys are going to stick around. Then you charge the men 1,000% for Amsterdam. Yeah. Like a $20 bottle is now $250 because the women are there. The women are the product. So with the social media sites, again, you want to make a safe environment for women so you can continue to get women on there, because if women are there, men are going to come and men are going to spend
clubs.
Money. It's just like clubs, yeah.
Yo, but speaking of like pay for play, there was a big, like, it was a civil war, like damn near, right? Like where like both content creators, I think Fresh and Fit and like Abba and Peach, right? Where like they were like pretty much like just going back and forth and on the ideology of paying for like pussy, right? Where I think Abba and Peach say, yo, listen, man, there's nothing wrong with it, cool. Fresh and Fit said, absolutely not. And then both sides kind of like went like back and forth, like trying to expose like why the other side is flawed or wrong. So what's like your take on men buying pussy? prostitution?
It's a tough one. I think because I get where Fresh and Fit are coming from. They're probably saying more from the lines of when you pay for it, you don't get the skills necessary to continue to get it. So you're just going to keep putting yourself at a financial deficit to pay for something that's just, you get an hour is what it is. So I understand their argument, but also you're paying for it because you get a better product. There's also quality that come with it, and you don't have to deal with many of the consequences that comes with dealing with some random woman on the streets. If you're a man in a certain position, you don't have to worry about that girl going and telling your fiance or your wife because she's in the business too, and if you start outing people, you get blackballed from that business. So, I understand kind of both sides of it. I mean, I don't really have an opinion as far as like judging people on it because I understand both. I understand both sides, but I thought that I know what you're talking about though, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, right. So listen, I'll be real, man. Like, in terms of paying for it, now, either way, right? We're gonna pay for it in some way, some form. Or whether or not that's like 5-10 dates, spend about like what $70 to like $100 for a date times that by 10, it's like $700 right there, right? So like at some point, listen, man, like just paying for it, getting out the way is better than that like hassle of me having to like talk to you and on the phone.
Wasting hours.
You feel me?
Where you could be productive and I get that too.
Yeah, man.
That makes sense. It could be an investment depending on what kind of guy you are. But if you're a guy working at a factory making $20 an hour and you spending your $200 check on
you down bad at that point.
You sad, so that in that sense it would be very destructive. But if you're a man that has a whole bunch of resources and you don't, you want a good service, that is under some umbrella to make sure that you're protected from STDs and you don't want it to get back to your wife, it's a little bit more understandable. But if you're giving your last to some woman, that's crazy.
Wait, right here, right? So I'm African, right? So monogamy, back home, like it's a thing. Again, like most men are monogamous back home, right? Well, they enter into these like monogamous agreements, but they probably cheat, right? But like here, right? I never quite understand why polygamy is just outright banned. Now, do you think that most men should be monogamous, or if you have the resources enough to take care of 3, 4, 5 women, 2 women, you should be able to like do so?
That's question. That's it's tough because I understand the benefits of monogamy for children, especially. And that's pretty much who it benefits the most, women and children. It protects them and gives them some sort of safety net, especially with the institution of marriage coming into play. But also with polygamy, again, and I say when we were talking about the women on women thing and women being more adept to being around women because they share men, historically speaking, they have. Yeah,
absolutely.
I understand that too. If there's a man that's valuable, I can't say what a woman wants. I am a feminist. I believe that women should be able to make their own choices. So if a woman wants to go be the 9th baby mother of future, that's her prerogative. Now, is it going to be good for the kids in the long term? I think that the studies show for sure that a 2-parent household where the man is around quite often and the woman's there is the best beneficial for kids. And it's probably the best for making sure that there aren't a lot of sexless men, because that's what we're happening. That's what's happening right now. We're moving into polygamy. Like we could call it a bunch of things. We could call it whatever we want, but we're in a situation now where most of the women want a small minority of the men. And so there's a lot of sexless men. And when you have a tribe, say if you have a tribe with 100 people, 50 men, 50 women, and the tribal leader takes all of the women, what incentive do those men now have to go fight a war or be productive or do whatever? All the things that I talked about earlier. So that part of polygamy can also be destructive. So it's like, but
are you monogamous?
Yeah, I'm monogamous.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Here, right. Because the reason why, right, like I asked, right, Godfather Kevin Samuels. I think again, I don't want to like misquote the Godfather, but like where men who reach a certain level should have more, should have like more options, and like it's outright ludicrous for a pretty girl, to like think that just her looks and her cooking and cleaning and being submissive, that should entitle her to that high value guy, right?
Yeah.
So why did you choose to be monogamous?
For me personally, it's because I want to have the best environment for my kids.
Yeah.
I want my children to be mini me's. I don't want a situation where I'm in this ghetto polygamy where I get my wife pregnant or my girlfriend pregnant. She goes off and is with some other dude, and that guy is now imprinting his values on my old girlfriend and now my kid. I don't want that. I want my kid to be mini me's, and I think right now in Western civilization, that's the best way to do it. But when it comes to polygamy in general and men at the top exercising those options, the problem is people focus on the shoulds instead of what just is. And the truth of the matter is, when men get a certain amount of value, more women want them, they have more sexual opportunity, and because men are sexual opportunists, they take part of it sometimes. So I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but it's just the reality of it. And so when society or culture has taught women that you're going to be able to go out and get some guy that he's able to go and build a Fortune 500 company, or he's able to go ahead and build his own brand, or be able to dictate over all these people and have these conversations while owning a company essentially, but he's just going to come home and be submissive to you. That's an illusion. Yeah. That's not even the same kind of guy. Or when you teach them that there's this billionaire man or millionaire man that if you just wait long enough, he's going to come and take care of you and only you. Statistically speaking, that just isn't true. And it isn't going to be the reality for most women, but most women believe in it so much that they're willing to wait and even be alone until their 40s, and because they just believe in it so much. But it's rhetoric.
Yeah, man.
It's never been that way historically speaking. Or any man of any value historically speaking has always had multiple women. Should it be that way? I don't know, but it definitely is.
Yo, like, I think Genghis Khan probably impregnated 40% of the population.
Bro, it's something like 0.01% of all Chinese people have Genghis Khan blood. Like, that's crazy.
I know, right?
But that just is what it is. And what people will do is they'll go, men are bad for that. Why are men going and sleeping with other women? But the women are also choosing to sleep with that man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep in mind, knowing that there are other women involved, usually they know that there are other women involved, but they still want to do it because women also have a biological imperative too. And it's to get as much resources and get the security of a more aggressive, more masculine man.
Yeah, of course.
So, so there's two sides to that equation.
Yeah.
And you can easily just point out the bad in the guys for wanting to exercise their options, but you got to look at the women too that choose to be a part of it. And many women will say that they won't, but they will.
Now, facts. But now, speaking of Kevin Samuels, right? I think you kind of summed it up in the most perfect way, right? I think you said Kevin Samuels is McDonald's, right? Whereas this concept, this ideology has always been here, but he just created this system, right? Right, that's perfect. And with that being said, which is why I never quite understood why women were celebrating his death.
Yeah, that was weird.
As if that reality is just gonna go away because Kevin Samuels passed away. No, right? That ideology is still here, right? So one, tell me, where were you when you found out his death? Because I know there was a few hours there where we didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So where were you when you found out Kevin Samuels passed away?
I was actually recording a video, and when I record, I always put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So by the time the news had broke, I looked at my phone and I seen people posting RIP Kevin Samuels. I'm like, what? Why don't we know anything? So I called MTR and I called I think I called O'Shea too. And when me and MTR was going back and forth, what became questionable and what started to concern me, and I was telling them this, I was like, why hasn't he said anything? It's one thing to let the rumor go and then make a video later, but when you have people close to you or you have family, like MTR and O'Shea are really, really close to Kevin Samuels. I'm more distant. I've kind of always been more lone wolfy, but they're really close to Kevin Samuels, and if I had an allegation that I passed away, I would at least make sure that my immediate friends and family know that that's not true so that they can have a peace of mind. Yeah. So when he wasn't responding to anybody's messages, when he hadn't spoken to MTR or O'Shea, that's when I started to get concerned. I'm hoping that he's going to pop up today and go, fuck all y'all for thinking that I'm dead. I'm still here. But unfortunately, he really did pass away, bro. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. Me and MTR talk about that to this day. It's crazy.
It kind of feels like his career was kind of and he was here for such a short amount of time that he just did so much work so he can just leave kind of a blueprint, for this is how things should be, man. It's kind of crazy, right? To talk about him in the past tense, bro, that shit blows my mind. But when you seen him pass away, and then you seen women celebrating that shit.
Yeah.
What was like your first reaction? Because you was actually grieving as well.
Yeah, it was disgusting because this man came along and told black women that you should marry before you carry, essentially. Marry before you carry. I know you want this high value man because everybody's telling you to be hypergamous, but are you willing to deal with the things that comes with being with a high value man? That's what the message was. It wasn't you can't get one. The message was more like it's very, statistically speaking, it's very unlikely that you get one. And if you do get one, are you ready to deal with the reality that comes with being with one? Are you ready for him to not be able to spend as much time with you because he's busy? Are you ready for him to maybe be exercising other options with women? Are you ready for him to be a little bit more distant? Are you ready to be submissive? Because if he runs a company, he's probably going to want to run his own family. So are you ready for those things? And it made women look into the mirror and have to reflect on their own life decisions. And I don't think that a lot of people like that. So when Kevin Samuels passed, who taught women those things and taught black men that we can work, we could be successful too. We just got to be willing to work together and continue to be disciplined and structure our lives in a way that's going to push us in that direction. But you get guys that are rappers, they die or they go to jail and it's RIP.
Yeah.
Everybody's screaming RIP, free him. We got people that have committed murders in our community.
King Von.
And the women in that community will worship them so much because of the aggressive nature and that's what. Yeah. We'll talk about that later, maybe. No, but like you got those women that are these men who have said, bitch, shake that ass.
Yeah.
Fuck these bitches, I'll slap these bitches around, I'll beat on bitches, blah, blah, blah.
Fuck with my Glock.
Exactly. And you
that
got
nigga shit.
Kevin Samuels. Yeah. Giving us small messages. Maybe it comes with a little controversy because sure, you have to make it entertaining. That's part of media. Nobody's going to watch it or listen to the message if it isn't entertaining. Sure, I get it. He may have said some things that you don't like, but the majority of the message was positive. And you have women, instead of reflecting on the things that he said, celebrating his death because they don't have to hear it anymore. Even though, like you said, it's still true. Yeah. But when it comes to other like rappers, they'll say R.I.P. and free him. We prioritize the men. We are obsessed with the men that are part of the problem in our culture as African Americans, and that's a huge problem.
Bro, listen, please speak on that, right? Because so like we just did like a live show, right? A No Jumper live show. And like they came back and told me, yo, listen, there were 1,500 people in that building screaming, fuck Flakko. Yeah. Why? Because Flakko has said, yo, listen, there's a percentage of our community. And, you know, again, it's not all black men in our community, right? Because again, most black men in our community are good men. Yeah. But there's a percentage who create so much chaos and destruction that our communities become so fucked up that, like, we should not glorify, and like praise those men, right? Like, for example, like guys like King Von, who is being investigated for 10 plus murders, who, right? Like, and his friends is even coming out saying, yo, he woke me up at 6:30 in the morning, put on a backpack and said, yo, let's go kill these niggas. Like, I got to drop on them. And they should not be celebrated. But again, I get mad love too, but there's still people in our community who's screaming, fuck Flakko, because they don't agree, or they think that I'm too hard on that particular bunch of people who has caused so much chaos and destruction in our communities. Why do you think people hate Flakko for like that message, man?
Well, it's because it's an uncomfortable reality. And like I said before, we worship the men that are part of the problem in our culture, and we prioritize them too. You look at a situation, and I'm not saying that Future's a bad guy. I'm just using this example because he's somebody that we all know. Yeah. This man has 9 kids now? 10 kids. Yeah. So we'll say the man is the problem in that situation. Future, you're a bad guy because he went out, he's sexually irresponsible, he's a bad guy. Yeah. But what about the 9 women after the first baby mother that knew that he was having kids and not marrying these women? Absolutely. Those were all willing participants. So in that situation, you have one sexually irresponsible man, but then you have 10 women that wanted to be with this sexually irresponsible man. And I'm only using this idea Future again because we know him. Yeah. I could go back to the hood. I know a dude that barely got a job, got 3 different baby mothers. How did 3 different women say this man is good enough to get me pregnant or to sleep with me, and not only sleep with me, I'm going to carry his baby to term.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So like we have to point out the sexual irresponsibility when it comes to our women and be completely honest about that. And when 60% of African American men are in the middle class or above. So we're doing well. You just have to be willing to go and find one that's regular. The only problem is men in our community that have traditional family values are deemed as lame or boring or he ain't
a mark.
You know, or he ain't enough. Exactly. Yeah. And so you get this situation where women are attracted to these overly aggressive men, and then what happens is men now want to be more overly aggressive because those are the men that are getting the sexual opportunities. What people have to realize is that men are built hardwired. Fuck the resources and all the other stuff. Men are built to chase sexual opportunity to get our DNA into the next generation of people. So we're going to do whatever we're supposed to do. We're going to do whatever it takes to get that to happen. Yeah. So if all the women are sleeping with guys that are murderers, guys are going to become murderers. Absolutely. If all the women are sleeping with doctors, if every woman in the black community said we're only going to sleep with men who make $50K or above, $60K or above, you would have to in order to procreate, so men would step up to the plate. But because you require nothing, you're going to get nothing. And when I say like prioritize, I'm not only talking about sexually, I'm also talking about socially. Like if we got, I'm going to say Chris over here, he going to college, we can't find no money to get him a car. But if his brother Steve go get locked up for some shit he did that he knew he wasn't supposed to do, we all finding bail money. We picking up the money trying to get bail money. So, you know, we prioritize these men, and we need as a culture some kind of set of rules or laws that we have to abide by.
Absolutely.
And so like in the Jewish community, I'll say the Asian community specifically.
Leave them Jews alone, yeah.
Yeah. In the Asian community though, and I'm from Minnesota, and there's a lot of Hmong people in Minnesota. So those are people from Thailand and Laos. Oh, okay. And they're so strong on their traditional values that if you sleep with one of them women, you better be ready to get married because they will show up to your door about it.
Wow.
Like the men are not playing in that community. If you want to be promiscuous, if you want to sleep around at a young age, you're going to step up to the plate and be a man now since you want to act like a man. Yeah. That's how they work. But in our community, we just let everything fly. Anybody can do whatever they want, and they are allowed back into us with embrace.
That's crazy.
You go into the Asian community and you're a woman, you get pregnant out of wedlock, gone. You go into the white community, you get pregnant by somebody they don't want you to get pregnant by. Generally, gone. You go and you make certain decisions that put you in a bad position. The family isn't going to drag themselves down by your bad decisions. Yeah. They're going to put their resources towards the people that have promoted themselves towards the people that have prioritized their life in a good way, and then they're going to get rid of those guys that are problems. Yeah. But in our community, we embrace those guys, and we need a set of code and rules. Like, okay, the Jewish community, they represent 0.02% of the global population, but they have 25% of all Nobel Peace Prizes. Yeah. 7 out of the 10 richest people on the planet are all, that's crazy, isn't it? 7 out of the 10 richest people on the planet are all Jewish. Shit. Why? Because they have certain religious laws that you're not a father and you're not a man until you do these things. So as a kid, between the age of 2 and 3, they're already teaching them the alphabet and basic mathematics. So they're teaching them to prioritize education. At the age of 13, for a boy to become a man and for a man to be considered a good father by Jewish religious law, he has to teach his son a trade. So now that son can build something with his own hands. So when you have a trade, the more you do something, the more you get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? And you can find your own opportunities. You don't have to go to the people that you think hate you, like white America, like black folks will complain that white America hates them, but then say, why don't they give us reparations? Why would you wait for the people you think hate you to give you something? So what you do is you create an environment where people have their own trades. They're more responsible because they can build things with their hands, and they feel like they are of value because they have value to offer. You're only valuable if you have value to offer. And a trade is a great way to have value. Not only that, but it's scalable. Again, the more you do it, the more money you can make from it, the better you get at it. Yeah. So it's like they have built an environment and a machine through religious law and cultural norms and expectations that put pressure on their kids to perform. Yeah, we don't have that in our community. We go, whatever you do, baby, it's whatever. You can do whatever you want to do. You go out here, shoot people.
Rob a killer, drug dealer.
Exactly. And your
mama's still going to be there. You feel me? Still talking about he a good boy.
Exactly. And part of that problem is there's no masculine influence in the households. Yeah. And I think by and large that is a repercussion of certain government programs that have been put into place to separate the man from the family. And I think it's been embraced by a certain mentality amongst our women, especially when it comes to feminism, which I don't understand why they support in the first place, because feminism was never for our women. Black women didn't get the right to vote when white women got the right to vote. They got the right to vote when we got the right to vote. The lady that was all for abortion, I forget her name too, but I'm sure y'all can look it up.
Margaret Sanger?
Yeah, Margaret Sanger. She was
racist.
She was absolutely racist. She was a part of something called the Negro Project, where they talked about getting rid of unwanted people. Yeah. You could go look this stuff up. Of course. She was the woman that got the parent. She was the creator.
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, Planned Parenthood. So like this stuff is all rooted in racism. Yet our women will say the other people are racist, and we should point out the bad parts in them and subjugate or like get rid of like the Republican Party for having certain mentalities. But they don't. They're biased when it comes to other. Yeah. Other communities that have pushed those mentalities into our community.
Like, and it's absolutely, bro, like, that's right, because the first like feminist convention I think was Seneca Falls. Mm-hmm. Bro,
yeah, you're right about that.
Right? I dare any black woman to find me one photograph, one record that shows a black woman being at Seneca Falls. They weren't there, right?
No.
Right? So like it was, again, so this whole movement, it was crafted by white women for white women, but somehow our women think it's, it's for them, right? And like that's crazy right now too. Also too, man, like, so let's speak on this, right? Like black women now wanting just regular guys, right? I have a theory, right? So like here's my theory, right? So black women, they grew up in like these environments where it's tumultuous, it's traumatic, right? Mm-hmm. So growing up in these environments, they automatically have to be tough. So as a woman, once you're tough, right? You don't lose that like will to be dominated, right? Mm-hmm. So once you're tough due to the environment that, let's say, the criminals and hoodlums created, you like grow like a tough skin, but you still don't lose that will and like desire to be dominated. So you automatically go for men who can dominate you, which are usually the hyper aggressive men, which are usually the thugs.
See, the only problem, and I've kind of thought about that too, and I've heard people like talk about that. And the only problem I have with it is when we were facing the most scrutiny as the black community, we had the highest marriage rate percentage. We were jumping the broom during slavery. Yeah. And even when you look at communities now, like the Hispanic community, they have a lot of violent crime. And you go look down in Mexico, violent crime is crazy. Yeah. Crime against women is crazy, yet they still have high marriage rates. Mm-hmm. So I be thinking like, I've heard that argument before, and that's kind of like my pushback on it is why are other communities that are also because African American men make a little bit more than Hispanic American men, yet they still have a higher rate of marriage. Yeah. So that's like what if the excuse is that you come from a bad neighborhood. We've always had that historically speaking, and the Hispanic community they have that too. Yet they still have high marriage rates. Yeah.
So like let's speak on black women, right? So you have one of the most like profound like I don't know if it's a speech or soliloquy, right? But you was just like going off talking about listen, bro, like. As black men, we are living up to, like, again, like, y'all was telling us for years how we ain't shit, how we're absent fathers, we're being incarcerated. Mm-hmm. We are correcting that, right? We're like the incarceration rate it's going down.
From 2016 to 2021, I believe, it decreased by like 34%.
Damn.
Something crazy like that. Yeah, I don't remember the statistics.
When is black women going to step up then?
But that's what we're waiting for. Yeah. We're waiting for the point that we can build our families again. Mm-hmm. And what that's going to take is for black women to stop looking at the guy they see on Instagram as the archetypal guy that they want to be with. Because I have a theory too when it comes to women dressing a certain way and behaving a certain way. It's because they see the men that are promoted to them, essentially rappers, actors, and entertainers, with those women online. So they think they have to look like those women or act like those women in order to get that archetype of guy. Mm-hmm. Not really understanding that archetype of guy ain't gonna make you happy. Mm-hmm. He ain't gonna be the guy that sticks around and takes care of your children and puts you, in a good place mentally. Yeah, absolutely. So, we have certain things with our culture right now that promotes women to take advantage of men in every way they can possible, and it's like with the music is horrible with it. Mm-hmm. But I don't hold the artists responsible for that, because I think that as grown adults, you should be able to see reality from entertainment. So, and then when you are in an environment where people will watch you starve and die on the side of the road, and you can now make millions of dollars through rapping, and the stuff that people actually want to hear, if we're just completely honest, the stuff that people want to actually hear is this message. I can't really knock you for promoting that message, but I can knock people for taking entertainment and thinking that it's reality and trying to behave in a way that is going to not be good for them, essentially.
I want to touch on Jordan Peterson. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to say this. I discovered Jordan Peterson actually through your videos, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's kind of crazy too. So like, what's your thoughts on Jordan Peterson? Like, just general thoughts.
I think that he is necessary in the time. I think that he is very pro accountability. He's very pro the way we fix the world is by you first fixing yourself.
Yeah.
And getting your own life together. And if everybody decides to do that, the world will actually be a good place.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will go, a lot of people will promote certain ideas when really they're just virtue signaling.
Yeah.
So they'll promote to appear to be a better person. They'll say, we need to save the planet. And then they'll fly on a private jet or they'll take an airplane. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a certain, Jordan Peterson in particular, he just promotes accountability. He tells people that if you want the best life for yourself, suffering is necessary. That's just part of it. And responsibility is more important than happiness because responsibility will bring fulfillment.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right. So like, even with with the rap community, man, like there's men who are disguising themselves as thought leaders and people who are trying to, like save something, right? When in fact, like they're all about $1. Now with Jordan Peterson, man. Where I kind of knew, this man truly gives a fuck. Like, he really wants change. He was crying talking about lonely men, the incels, and men who just, are being stifled and suppressed. And then when he was getting emotional and almost tearing up, that clip is now going viral, and people are out here laughing at him and calling him weak. Yeah. Right? So, like, what's your thoughts like when you see people, I guess, like clowning him, crying, talking about vulnerable men?
Yeah, those are the same people that would tell men that it's okay to cry.
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
Those are the same people that would say, we care about men's mental health, and it's just a crock of shit. I think that you should teach men to be stoic because, like I said earlier, the emotional... when men act on their emotions and are taught to be overly emotional, they forget how to control them. Yeah. While stoicism teaches you to control your emotions. Yeah. And of course, there are times when your emotions seep out and you do get a little bit overly emotional. Or I wouldn't even say overly emotional. You're very passionate about something and it bleeds out. I get that. But again, it's hypocrisy because those are the same people that will say they care about men's mental health. Yeah. When really... especially when it comes to the women that say that, they know it's a crock of shit because the only men that they choose... It's okay to cry.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's okay to... like, it's not even that it's not even that it's not okay to cry. It's just that there's a time and place for everything. Yeah. And if you're a man that is ruled by your emotions, you still live in a competitive environment. So if you're going to allow your emotions to not let you get up and go to the gym, then you're just going to be less competitive than the other men. Yeah. And the women are picking the most... competition is fierce. It's a blood sport right now.
Especially
and the
now.
women are picking the guys that got it all together. And if you're a guy that gives into your emotions and listen to women that say you're allowed to cry and stay inside and be depression emotional because, I think that I think when it comes to like, and Andrew Tate talks about this a little bit, I will say that. But I think when it comes to depression specifically, I would never adopt that mentality because it puts me in a position where I'm allowed to give up and I can justify it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people will say you're depressed so you could just sit around and do nothing, when I would argue you're depressed so you should get up and do something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're depressed, it's probably because you're in a situation that you don't like. When you get hungry, or when you don't eat, you get hungry. And that hunger makes you want to go eat. So when you're depressed, it's probably because you're in a situation where you're not enjoying your life because you haven't made the decisions that you need to make to progress in life. And so, yeah, of course you're a depressed man. You ain't done nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, in the world is more competitive than ever before. So yeah, like when it comes to Jordan Peterson though, just to bring it all full circle, those are the same people that will say they care about men's health and men should cry.
It's insane, man.
Contradictional.
Yo, right here. So back to the rap pill, man. So do you consider yourself, talk your shit, do you consider yourself right now, since they got Andrew Tate out of here, Sneeko out of here, Kevin Samuels passed away, are you now the forefront thought leader for the rap pill community?
Ooh, that's crazy.
Because listen, bro, let's think about it, bro. Who can fuck with you? Can't nobody fuck with you at this point. Well, no. I'm going to say this. I feel like you and Steph is Code are the two guys that I listen to the most, right? But talk your shit, man. Are you the forefront thought leader right now in 2022 as we stand? Again, listen, it's like what? October 4th today? Yeah. Right? Are you the forefront thought leader?
I think that I how do I say this? Okay,
is.
I ain't gonna hold. I put a lot of effort into my shit.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna be competitive, like I've always been in my entire life, I have to believe that I am the best, and that's just it. But it's because I work at it. It's one thing to believe you're the best and you do nothing, and that's arrogance. That's where it's easy to see through it. But when you believe that you're the best, but you actually work hard to become the best by challenging yourself every single day and trying to be disciplined, then you deserve to be able to say that you're in that position. And I think I'm definitely competitive with the top spot.
Yeah.
There are channels like numbers-wise that are killing me.
Who?
Shout out to Arco TV. He makes content too. His is a little bit more. TV. His is a little bit more geared to Gen Z. Very he doesn't really go into depth really, but it's very quick paced. And if you look him up, I mean the dude's doing like 500,000 views a day.
Damn.
So yeah, and he's posting every single day. So in terms of like numbers, he's probably gonna pass me in the next couple months. But and Fresh and Fit too. They're huge.
Well, here again, like I fuck with Fresh and Fit, right? Fresh to me, first off, don't go to their Reddit. Bruh, their Reddit, bro, I don't know how a fan base can hate one half of the fucking like the show. That's just crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, their Reddit gets on Fresh, but I feel like Fresh adds something. I feel like Myron is dope. But if I were to say Myron and PNP doing a debate, again, I love Myron, I love Fresh. I'm a Fresh and Fit chat nigga.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody at that table can fuck with you when it comes to like talking that shit, get the facts right, oratory skills, being an intellectual.
Yeah.
Nah, bruh.
Yeah, but our show structure is different too.
Yeah.
So when I do my videos, I sit down and I have a little bit more time to think about things. I can cut, so if some things are, if I'm not articulating well, I can cut that part out. Yeah. While Myron, he has to sit down face to face. And when them cameras come on, I'm sure thinking about something and being able to actually articulate it to other people so that they can understand it are two totally different things.
Of course.
So, I think what we do is a little bit different. I love what Myron's doing right now with Calm Myron.
Who?
I had a little... Calm Myron. Myron that is under control.
Calm,
that is able to just calm Myron.
Yeah.
He's I think Calm Myron is a problem.
Yeah.
When he was a little bit more trying to get the views and trying to get the he was going for the controversy, he was kicking the women out more often and being a little bit more loud, and it's easier to gloss over his message because he wasn't he seemed like he was more sporadic, like more outrageous. You could easily paint him to be an incel at that point or like whatever. But when you're sitting there calm and you're articulating your ideas, no matter how emotional the other parties are being, you go to another level. And he's been doing that very well lately.
Yeah, right.
And and Fresh is just Fresh.
Yeah.
I had some shit. I had some stuff with Fresh. I might as well goddamn talk about it.
Yeah, say it, man.
When they were going through the whole Ob and Preach thing, they did some things that I disagree with, and I don't care who you are. If I don't like the music, I'm not dancing.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
And like you made a video, like talking about it, right? But I think you called Myron first, right?
Yeah, I did a live stream on the allegations that were coming up at the time because, of course, there were a bunch of... I don't remember the specific allegations. I remember one was he might have got somebody pregnant. The other one is...
She was capping, lying her ass off.
Yeah. But I did speak to Myron before, and he gave me one of the examples. And in that example, when I started the live stream, I talked about that example, and I said, I guarantee you right now from what I know, because he didn't want me to share the information that he gave me.
Yeah, of course.
And he only gave me something that justified him from one of the allegations. So I was like, I'm going to cover the topic, and if I don't have all of the information, it's
going to look bad for you.
Yeah, because now I have to be I have to try to play both sides. I have to go, okay, maybe they could be telling the truth on this end, maybe not. But one of my biggest criticisms of them was that they put themselves in a vulnerable situation by engaging with the same women they know will take advantage of them if given the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
So that plus some of the stuff that was going on with Ob and Preach, calling out Preach's wife. Yeah. I'm not with that. I'm married too. I would never, if I have an argument with you, I'm not talking about your mother or your wife or kids. It's between me and you. But I think that they had an understanding after a while, and that went. But another thing that they did that where I kind of was like, okay, that's
copyright strikes.
Copyright strikes, because I'm all for freedom of speech, and I know Myron is too. So when he made the argument that people were criticizing him, yet he admitted openly. Before that his primary goal was to create controversy to spread the message.
Yeah.
He wanted to grow based on controversy, and that's cool because that is a way to do it, but you're going to get people to react to your videos. You're going to get people to say, that's hilarious, that's funny, that's bullshit, because you seek controversy.
Yeah.
So if you seek controversy, why are you trying to copyright strike people for reacting to that controversy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of my criticism.
I did not like that too. Yeah.
And so like I think when it came down to it and they had all the information and they were going on the live stream, I was in the live stream asking questions, whatever. They started getting momentum, and they fans is riled up.
Man.
So I think Fresh was like, stay over there, or something like that. And that's
nah.
But
man.
like, here's the thing. Number
Is
one,
it good now, or like y'all still have some type of like friction?
well, I see. The thing is, I never had friction with Myron because Myron was the one I spoke to, and I don't care about anything. I will call if I don't, even my friends. I will call you out if I think you're bullshitting.
Yeah.
So in this was a time where the police were supposedly being called in. People were coming in with guns, and I'm like, bro, is this all a part of the sham? Like, is this part of the controversy?
Yeah.
Like, I called him, and he was like, "The police are here. I got to call you back." I was like, bro, are you telling the truth? Like, you can ask him about this. Are you telling the truth, or is this a bunch of bullshit? Yeah. I was like, okay, bro, I'm gonna get off the phone, but I don't know, because I just wasn't sure if they were creating more controversy. Yeah. So like, I've always had my criticisms of them, right? and Fresh, when he said the stay over there thing, I think that's because me and Fresh weren't in communication. And plus, I did say this in the live stream, and I will stand on this. Yeah. Fresh had a story where he was talking about going with some NBA player and having threesomes and having 1,000+ body count. If you got game, it's possible. Okay. It's possible. But that's some shit. That's, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, look, bro, that's cap off the rip. I did hear that story. I'm not gonna believe that. Yeah.
No, I did hear that story, and again, I'll be real. Like, that story did, like having sex with a sim girl as an NBA player that you guys.
Threesomes and stuff. I'm like, I stand on that to this day. I still think it's cap. Yeah. So you could get upset that I believe that, or you could try to prove me that you actually did, or whatever it may be. But again, I still think it's not true. And
how do we fix that though, man? Like, how do we bring PNP and Fresh? Listen, because I would love to see you just go on their show, man. You feel me? Or
I probably cook up. I cook up on it. I enjoy, like, I watch their clips. I'm on Facebook sometimes. Yeah. Even though it's a graveyard. If you're still on Facebook, you screaming into the void. All it is 34-year-old women talk, or 40-year-old women talk about knee operations and,
Get views still,
but
though.
I'll get on there. Yeah, I go on there every now and then, and I'll see their videos pop up, and I think their clips are really interesting. I don't have the time to watch a full live stream. But I like their content. I have no problem. And I've said this from the beginning. They've always put good, they've always had really good production value. Yeah. They've always been very determined. Myron's always been, and from all the stories I've heard of Myron in person, he always treats people hospitably, or if that's he treats people with hospitality.
He's African, so they always do that,
So most of my criticism just came from the controversy that you were trying to build, and yet you were upset and trying to copyright strike people for that controversy, even though you said, for reacting to that controversy, even though you said that you were for free speech. Yeah. And so that was a little bit of a contradiction. But I don't have no problem with Fresh and Fit. I still think they doing their thing. I think they're coming up to 1 million subscribers now.
Yeah, right here. So so with Myron, and he's special because, like, when you talk to everybody, they say, he's the exact same on camera as he is off camera, right? So like, that's good. Now the second thing is, now some people might say, listen, again, I don't think this because like, I think that Fresh has something to add, right? But people say, listen, Myron, like, you should probably just cut Fresh off and go do your own thing. So what's your, like, again, and that's their Reddit saying that, right? So what do you, like, what's your, like, reaction to, I guess, that, right? Like, in their Reddit or other people saying, listen, you should probably just cut Fresh off. He don't add too much, you feel me? Like, like, all the ideologies and, and the hard on thought mess come from you.
It's probably criticism from people that don't understand what he does on the back end.
He's networker.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't even understand what he does on the back end, but if he networks, that's a value that can only be that certain people have that other people don't. And when it comes to technical people, kind of like more like me and Myron, we're so into the numbers and so into the business aspect of things, it's hard to go out and be personable. So if you have another side that's able to go out and be personable and recruit people to come on the show and make sure that when you go out to the club, you're in the best VIP section because he's already been there 1 million times and he knows the owner and blah, blah, blah. That all helps to building the brand, and it helps to moderate some of the the bad criticism that comes towards them because they treat people well in person.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that that's just criticism made by people who only see the on-camera stuff. I think that Fresh is getting much better at articulating himself, and when he doesn't feel like
And he stutters too, you feel me? Yeah.
yeah, and if he doesn't feel like he wants to, if he doesn't feel like he can articulate well on the subject, he'll just stay out of it. That doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll stay out of it. What I did say, Ed, Fresh, you was simping, gang.
Oh, with
You a
Miranda.
simping, gang. You a simping, gang. That's some simp. So you know, like when it comes to stuff like that,
That was
bro,
bad though.
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to stuff like that, and when academics came on, he essentially brought up all of the things that I said. So like all of the problems that
Miranda was listen.
yeah, that was a little wild.
Let me
Fresh.
tell
that
you
was wild, gang.
how devious Miranda. Listen, and Miranda made me like pause and look at my own girl like, yo, like you telling me all the right shit about this money, bro. Miranda came on and said, bruh, I still drive a Toyota Corolla. I'm the least like materialistic girl ever. I don't even look at wealth. And then go to her TikTok. It's just giving tutorials on how to finesse men out of money.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, these women are devious, bro.
It's crazy. But you know, Fresh. But the thing is, even with men like Fresh that already know the tricks and the traps, men are just hardwired to be ignorant when it comes to women. We don't want to have to realize the nature of women because we have to protect them and we need them for procreation. We need.
And she was average though. She was an average white girl. That's crazy.
But like, it's like when you get one and they get you in that web, bro. Because femininity is a web, and that's a huge power that women have is femininity. Making a man feel like a man is a crazy power. You convince a man to do damn near anything for you. Men are getting up to go work, getting up at 5 a.m. to go to work, not because they want to oppress women. That's what feminism say. Men are oppressing women. Guys are getting up at 5 a.m. to make sure that their women can stay home and take care of their kids. That's because the femininity has hypnotized them enough to just go out and sacrifice their mental and physical health to provide for them. You know, so femininity is a huge thing, and that's probably what he got caught in. Like you go to strip clubs, and the reason why dudes are addicted to strip clubs is because of the femininity. You get a woman, she give you the eyes, they're submissive. They behave very
kowtow for your paper.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yo, bro, listen, man. I've been talking your ears off for almost 3 hours, bro. It's going on 2 minutes, 2 hours and like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But bro, listen here, right? So like let the folks know, one, what do you have coming up, right? Like what's next in PMP's conquest for world domination?
I'm gonna start a tech firm. Right now, I'm just making. I'm gonna start going back to making videos every single day because on the other side, where I've been doing setting money aside to make sure that
you good.
Yeah, because
you next probably.
Yeah.
I'll be real, fresh and fit. I don't see them having a channel in 6 months, right? Because they're going just down the line, right?
Yeah.
Especially after that live stream with like Andrew Tate to where
they have him on there and he's banned, and I think that's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, not illegal, but against terms and
Yo,
services.
listen though, I got a guideline strike, right?
Yeah.
For talking about Joe Budden and Alex Jones going like back and forth, right? I played a 30-second clip of Alex Jones speaking. I got a strike for like having like a band creator or some bush like that, right? Bro,
they'll excommunicate. Bro, they get you the fuck out of there. That's what they do.
Yeah, look,
it's a power play.
I think I can find this real quick, man. You feel me? Where, bro, it was madness, right? But like it's past like them like having him on though, right? It's it's definitely like, yo, they're just next in line. So like you've been saving money.
Yeah, bro. No matter how much money I make, I still drive a Volkswagen, 2010 Volkswagen Jetta. I'm very frugal, I guess is what you would say. I make sure that I take care of my money so it can take care of me one day.
Really?
So, yeah. Oh yeah. I don't play that. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've always been very disciplined when it comes to money because I mean, if you don't have,
look at this shit, man. Look at that bullshit, bro. Alex Jones going at Joe Budden, they removed that shit because Alex Jones was a banned person, right? So like when you feel me, like look at that shit.
Crazy.
Bro, I'm telling you, see.
And the thing is like, but people don't understand it because they're not content creators.
Yeah.
Like so they don't understand how tedious or just how much power that is for like a company. They don't understand it because they're not a part of it yet, but they will be. But as far as like my future and whatnot.
Yeah, what's next, man?
Putting money aside.
A TV show.
No, not a TV show, bro. I don't think that I'm even. I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna put money aside. I'm gonna continue to talk about controversial topics until I can't anymore. And when that happens, I'm gonna get out of it, take care of my family in any way I see fit, and enjoy my life.
Or start your own podcast. You feel me? Like, you feel me? Transition, bro. Listen, bro. You can listen, bro. I'm telling you right now, bro. Like, you can definitely like go down. Well, like, you already had the podcast route, right? But like an actual podcast and shit. Yo, TV show, man. Listen, bro. Listen, we can link you up with like Andrew Show, Charlamagne the God. You feel me? And
yeah,
you feel me?
You know what's strange though is like, and I always think about this because those guys are so good at what they do.
Yeah,
like they're really good at what they do. It's like I'm still trying to figure out what is entertaining. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And just like I did with track, like how much of it is nature versus nurture? Because I know people that are just funny.
Yeah,
they can just say things and do whatever they do, and they're just funny. They're entertaining people.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm trying to still figure out what makes a person entertaining, and I'm still trying to learn how to articulate myself better.
Better?
So, yeah, bro. Like even in this interview, after I finish a phrase or a sentence or a segment of whatever I'm saying, I'll say so. Or like just little things like that y'all may have control over because y'all are used to having these open discussions.
Bro, I fucking stutter.
Yeah.
And say right, probably.
Yeah,
right. You feel me?
It is what it is. Yeah.
You know, so,
but then you get to like Andrew Schultz, Joe Rogan, Charlamagne the God. I mean, just some of these legendary podcasters.
It's time too, though, right? It's time too because they've been doing it for like 20 years now.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I just want to get more experience in it, and hopefully I can try not to be banned on YouTube, so that when the time comes where I'm able to articulate myself better, I can take that step into more like mainstream, like, you know, those kind of podcasts. Because once you get in that cycle, Joe Budden,
you out of here.
Yeah, you pretty much good. But I think No Jumper is the first step to that. If I'm just completely honest, I still got some work to do though.
Wait, hold up, like, yo. I was actually afraid, but to reach out, right, again, right, because we probably thought, yo, like, he's too big to come and do, like, our shit, you feel me, right? So, like, why do you think you're still, like, I guess, like, in like, the small content creator range? Because you're, like, bro, like, you're huge, bro. Everybody knows about you, bro.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe like, you're huge, bro. Like, trust me, bro. Like, people who I talk to, like, Traveler Ross is probably here and shit. Like, he's probably, right? Mm-hmm. Right? You know, and like, he probably has like 900,000 subs, right?
Yeah.
Doing like an interview right now with Adam. Bro, he knows about you. You feel me, right? Like, you're huge, bro.
That's interesting. I guess I never really thought about it or got it. It's like when you lose weight or gain weight, you don't really notice until somebody tell you.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that people have recognized me more in person than ever before. But I more gauge my skill based on where I think I'm at in comparison to the best.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I don't care about like people that ain't good.
Yeah.
Because they ain't good. Like that's nothing to look up to. That's nothing to care about. So like when I think of articulating myself, I don't compare myself to other people on my level or maybe even below. I think of like how am I in comparison to Joe Rogan or Andrew Schultz or Tim Dillon or, you know, just some of the major podcasters, you know.
Question for you though. Do you watch like No Jumper?
Yeah, I watch it sometimes. I'm more of a clips guy though, because again, I don't really be having the time to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. So like, what was your like first reaction right before we get up out of here? Your like first reaction to like seeing Poetic Flakko?
I wasn't very familiar with you until really recently. But obviously the first one was the spit one. Yeah. Which is crazy, bro.
That shit was diabolical.
That's wild. No, y'all came in on it though.
Yeah, you feel me?
Y'all was on bumpers though. Y'all was on bumpers. But I don't want to reopen no wounds or nothing. No. But that was really, but you know, but those are the moments though. You, like, people are addicted to negativity, and when you're in the media space, you start to realize a little bit more. And if you keep promoting that, you get a situation where like we're kind of in now with social media where almost everything is overwhelmingly negative. So you only see the worst parts of humanity because
I took a hard left from the nigga shit after that. Listen, bro, I took a hard listen. I said anything Negro, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with the nigga shit, right? Now, yo, listen, right, but like I knew though that like I had to change or like stop associating myself with those, like, I guess, like, high-pressure situations. Because, listen, like, Tory Hart told me, yo, listen, like, my PR team, my management team, they all told me, yo, don't do an interview with a Poetic Flakko, right? And she said, nah, fuck that, you feel me? I'm going to do it. So I thought that it was just her people. And then Traveler Ross told me, yo, like, my team told me, yo, don't do an interview with, like, Poetic Flakko because he asks all the hard questions, all, you feel me, like.
Oh, do you search for controversy? You do be kind of picking for controversy, though, do you think?
Here, right? So like,
let's just be honest. I'm not saying you're bad for it.
Yeah,
I'm saying you're damn near good at your job for it. Because those controversial clips are the ones that go viral and that people actually watch.
Yeah, right.
But
So
would
like,
you say that's something that you search for with questions?
Hey, right. So for me, it's like I ask questions, right, that people would say, let's not ask, right? Because me is kind of like, for example, like a rapper recently, right? Yo, like, yeah, right, yo, right? It's all online of like, you know, him and some dude going like back and forth, and the dude who shot him just died, right? So like most people say, you know what? I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna ask, yo, listen, did you kill that nigga? You feel me? Right? Right? So like I'm gonna ask the questions that nobody else wanna ask, right?
Yeah, that's like Vlad though. Vlad be doing that.
Yeah, feel me? Yo, listen, man. Vlad, please, yo. I love you, Vlad.
Vlad be on that.
Vlad, bro. Why do you hate me, nigga? I love you, man.
Oh, for real?
Bro, Vlad fucking despises me, man. Listen, look.
Bro, what happened? What's going on? Like, why is everybody...
Fam, I don't know why he hates me, but I just know that, like, when he was coming here and he requested, like, he don't even want to see me. Damn. That's crazy, right? But, hey, man, you know, Vlad, I love you, bro. Please, Vlad, reach out, man. Let's fix the issue,
Yeah, but
right?
that's the thing, too. When you go for controversy...
Yeah.
That's part of it. You're going to get some people that absolutely love you because you're asking the difficult questions, but then you're going to get people that hate you because they think that you're setting them up. Or
I love Vlad, man. Man, but yo, listen, man. Poor man, yo, please. I'm not sure, like, when are you like available next, right? But like, I want to see me, you, and Sharp just have conversation.
Sharp.
You feel me, man? bro, I'd love to see that. Or me, you, and Kazumi. You feel me? Like, bro, I just want to have you back to right. We can, you know, form that conversation, right? But trust me, bro. Like,
we got to get somebody that's a little bit polarized, because even that's the controversy with Fresh and Fit. They'll go, why do they have this particular type of woman on? Number one, they are diversified. They have college students. They have OnlyFans girls. They have all of that. But you also have to find people that can articulate their points enough. And
it's Kazumi.
Yeah, that's okay. So if she's that person, then I'm willing to sit and have a discussion, because I'm gonna come with it,
bro.
So she better be ready for it,
bro. Look,
I ain't gonna be like mean or nothing, but I'm gonna ask difficult questions. And
bro, listen, she's a hard feminist.
Oh,
she does. Listen, right? She does porn, but like she has a regular boyfriend who's in finance, bro. Listen, trust me, bro. Me, you, Kazumi, and Sharp will have a perfect conversation. You feel me? But listen, man. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world, man. Poor Man Podcast came. I talked his ears off for 2 hours and 40 minutes. You listen, because he said, what will we talk about for 3 hours? I guess you were wrong, right?
Yeah, right? 3 hours later.
I know, right? No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world, man. We're out of here, folks. Peace.